Throughout the day, cooler temperatures. Today's high 83. Showers come to an end late tonight. Partly cloudy and cooler, a low of 65. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Marcus Bailey for 93 WIBC.
73 cloudy with showers on radar. I'm Kurt Darling on the level on the go and on WIBC.com.
This hour on 93 WIBC is powered by this weekend's Indianapolis Early Music Festival. Visit iemusic.org for tickets today.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
The Republican Party in Indiana sees zero problem in record spending, in record taxation.
And Casey Daniels.
You went out there and said, please vote for me. You debated other people on why you're the better person for the position. Suck it up.
This is the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
Oh, yes, it's Friday. It's the Kendall and Casey Show. There's raindrops have fallen, and, well, there's lots of things going on as it relates to the Indiana General Assembly and abortion. We'll get to that in just a moment. And, again, Abdul will be with us here a little bit later today. Big show ahead for you. But we start with, yesterday, a lot of different things happening as it relates to the Indiana General Assembly and abortion. And none of it really good or promising if you are a person who is a part of the pro-life movement. By the way, I didn't mention, and I know this is becoming more and more popular by the day, so we'll throw this out there again. You can now watch the program. Hello. A couple different ways you can do that. You can do that over on the WIBC Facebook page. There's a live feed there. WIBC Twitter feed, live link there, or you can just simply type Kendall and Casey WIBC into your YouTube browser and watch us there. So all different ways, in addition to listening to the program, if you want to watch, you can do that as well. Okay, so again, big moving parts yesterday, none of them promising as it relates to the pro-life movement, the Indiana General Assembly, and abortion. Three things we'll get to. Number one, our friends over at the Indiana Capitol Chronicle reported that the pro tem of the Senate, so the leader of the Senate on the Republican side, Rod Bray, had an hour-long meeting with Governor Holcomb yesterday. And after the meeting, Bray refused to answer any questions and was quickly, as they described it, ushered away from the press. Now, if you have something you are proud of, if you have something you're excited about, if you have something you're trying to build momentum for, the number one thing you would do is find the nearest microphone possible and start telling as many people about it as possible. The fact that the pro tem of the Senate, the leader of the Senate, coming out of an hour-long meeting with the governor, is refusing to answer any questions about the topic in question should be a big old giant red flag. Because again, the Republicans are the party that for 30 years in Indiana has campaigned on the pro-life movement, that they would restrict abortion access, that they would make abortion rare, that they would in some cases ban abortion. All of these things they've fundraised, they've promised all these years, and now you have the opportunity, and you had a month and a half long head start in the fact that the leader of the Senate, after an hour-long meeting with the governor, will not talk to the press, should tell you something's up. That's number one. Number two, multiple outlets reported that the Republicans in the Indiana House of Representatives had what they called a caucus meeting. And this is where they all get together in a room, in private, and discuss what they want to do, where they want to go, how they want to do it. Now, two things with this. Number one, they allegedly had the meeting not at the Indiana State House. And the only reason you wouldn't have, as the Indiana House of Representatives, that you would have a caucus meeting not at the Indiana State House is you don't want people to know you're having the meeting, and you don't want to get badgered by the media. Now, again, same issue with Rod Bray. If you're proud of what's going on, if you got a consensus, if you're ready to go, you absolutely want people to know you're meeting. And, by the way, you're not doing it in a caucus format because you got no problem having the conversation out in the sunshine. These caucus meetings drive me insane because it's where so much of the doing gets done, and it's done in a back room where nobody sees the discussion, nobody sees the engagement, nobody sees the back and forth. They strike these deals behind closed doors, and then they come out and tell everybody, they vote the way they've decided to do in the caucus. As a local elected official, and there'll be a whole bunch of local government elected officials that'll be nodding, that's a violation of open door law. If the local elected officials were to do what the Indiana House and Senate does, and Democrats and Republicans both do this, it's a major, major violation. But because these are the people who write the laws, they write the laws so that they can do it. So again, we've got the pro tem of the Senate meeting with the governor for an hour, refusing to answer any questions. You've got the House Republican caucus allegedly having a caucus meeting off State House grounds and not answering any questions. And then WTHR Channel 13 has this report which came out, which says that only 7% of the Indiana General Assembly, and I believe it was overwhelmingly Democrat of those who were willing to answer a very straightforward survey on abortion from WTHR. So again, that means almost no Republicans were willing to answer this survey. And WTHR, and this is the exact thing we saw with IndyStar, and the excuse with IndyStar was, well, they're an uber-liberal publication. We won't converse with them. Well, is it the same thing with THR? Are they also an uber-liberal biased publication that's into gotcha journalism? I don't know. Listed the questions that they asked the Indiana General Assembly. And again, only 7% would answer the question. I'll read them for you. There's no gotcha here. These are pretty straightforward. If you've campaigned on something for 30 plus years and you had a month and a half heads up, and now, well, it's even more than that now, it's almost 2 months heads up based on where we're at, and you're going to have to vote on these things within the next month and a half anyway, the fact that you won't answer these questions should be a red flag. Here's the questions they asked. Do you support a complete ban on abortions in Indiana? Pretty easy. Do you support legislation that would allow an abortion in the case of rape, incest, and or if the mother's life is at risk? Again, pretty easy. Do you support legislation that would criminalize abortion, meaning the mother and or a medical provider would face charges? Again, pretty straightforward. Would you support legislation that would outlaw or ban medication abortion? And number 5, in your own words, 1 or 2 sentences, what is your position on the abortion issue? There's no gotcha here. There's no radical left-wing journalism here. These are all things that these people, these public office holders, have been asked in surveys given by things like Right to Life, etc., pro-life groups who give money and knock on doors for them for years and years and years. The fact that Rod Bray won't answer the questions, the fact that the Indiana House Republicans are meeting off State House to discuss this topic, and the fact that almost no Republicans will answer this very simple survey, that is not good if you are a pro-life person. Because this should be a very simple deal based on 30 years of campaigning and fundraising. Whatever the position is the position. Get it out there. Let everybody know what it is. You certainly had no problem giving your position when you were trying to raise money for your reelection. This is going to be a complete circus. And it is 100%. There are no Democrats to blame for this. There's nowhere to run and hide on this. This is a total Republican issue. And you should be outraged that after all these years of asking you for money and to knock on doors for them, that you can't even pin down where these people are when the special session is going to start. 93 WIBC, it's Kendall and Casey Show.
Mitt Romney says America is in denial. He published this in The Atlantic, which could be one of the reasons why you didn't read it. He writes, what accounts for the blithe dismissal of potentially cataclysmic threats? The left thinks the right is at fault for ignoring climate change and the attacks on our political system. The right thinks the left is the problem for ignoring illegal immigration and the national debt. What we have become of whether or not we believe in America at all.
Tony Katz, mornings 6 to 9 on 93 WIBC and WIBC.com.
Every search you make, every click you take, they'll be watching you.
Tired of companies like Google and Facebook watching everything you do online? There's actually a simple solution. DuckDuckGo. It's an all-in-one privacy app with a built-in private search engine, web browser, one-click data clearing, email protection, and more, all for free. Download the app today and get the most comprehensive privacy protection with the push of a button. DuckDuckGo. Privacy simplified.
At Lowe's, every pro is an MVP to us. It doesn't matter how big or small your business is. If you're a plumber, roofer, electrician, or remodeler, your business earns back when you spend, gets exclusive offers, and paint rewards. It all adds up to help drive your business. Join Lowe's MVP's Pro Rewards and Partnership Program today. Minimum purchase required. Earnings and paint rewards awarded as Lowe's e-gift cards. Exclusions, restrictions, and more terms apply. Valid through 12/31/22. See Lowe's.com/L/Pro Loyalty Terms. Subject to change. U.S. only.
Hubler has certified service and maintenance for the life of your vehicle. Get everyday value pricing on service and parts and schedule an appointment with ease at drivehubler.com.
Treat yourself to unique live music this weekend. The 56th Indianapolis Early Music Festival entertains and enriches you with timeless, beautiful music from early eras. Visit iemusic.org for info and tickets.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
He's out of control.
And Casey Daniels.
Isn't she the best?
On 93 WIBC.
Man, the left is totally unglued on the abortion topic. And it's just weird and bizarre and crazy, but it's also, for our business, the gift that keeps on giving. 93 WIBC, it's Kendall and Casey Show. I'm Rob. Casey's out today. Kevin's here. Abdul will join us here in a little bit. Just a reminder, again, if you're enjoying listening to the program, new frontier over here for us. You can now watch the program. 3 different ways to do that. YouTube feed, just type in Kendall and Casey, WIBC. Head over to the WIBC Facebook page or the WIBC Twitter feed. Got a lot of great responses this week on our launch of the video aspect that goes with the program, and thank you everybody who's been tuning in that way. So Cori Bush, she is, she's a lunatic. She's a representative from, I believe, Missouri, and she is right in there with the squad, you know, the AOCs, the Ilhan Omars, the Rashida Tlaibs, etc., in terms of complete and utter radical leftism. And one of the things that is very interesting about the Democrat Party and where they're at today versus even, say, 10-ish years ago in the height of the Obama presidency / re-election. It used to be we always knew what Democrats were if you paid attention. The Democrat Party as a collective was where they wanted the country to go. But the Democrats used to be very good about not saying it out loud. Like, you didn't say the stuff out loud. You did the word salad, you deflected, whatever. But you didn't say the radical left stuff out loud. And especially in the era of Trump, and now certainly through today, that rule, that unwritten rule, wherever it was tacked up somewhere, is now out the window. And now there are so many prominent members of the Democrat Party who are so radically left that it's impossible to, you know, from the perspective of a Nancy Pelosi or a Chuck Schumer, to corral all of them. And they have such a strong base now inside the Democrat Party that in many cases the leadership has even themselves given up the facade of this idea of, you know, moderation or whatever you want to call it. I mean, Schumer, Pelosi, etc., because they realize keeping power involves keeping many of these people happy. They just say the stuff now as well. And Cori Bush, as we said, U.S. House Representative, was talking about abortion at a press conference the other day, and she made it very clear that when the House reconvenes, they're off for a couple weeks for the 4th of July holiday. By the way, you got one day for 4th of July, your elected representatives. We'll take 2 weeks. It'll be fine. We've worked very hard. Anyway, she has come out and she has said that when the House reconvenes, that they have no problem and they will very likely move forward on overturning the Hyde Amendment. Of course, the Hyde Amendment is the provision that bans federal funds from being used for abortion. Now, what's interesting to me, and we'll play this audio clip here in just a second, is that the Hyde Amendment has been around since 1976. And I thought one of the big things with Roe versus Wade and the overturning of Roe versus Wade was that you could not overturn almost 50 years of precedent. But apparently that's only true if it's Roe versus Wade. If it's a Hyde Amendment, that's just fine. Here's Cori Bush. Take a listen.
I'm also proud to say that the House is ready to advance legislation when we get back to D.C. next month to finally repeal the Hyde Amendment. The Senate needs to step up. The Senate must step up to get rid of this racist, draconian, discriminatory policy.
Okay, so if you are a person who believes that your federal money, take away your pro-life as a person, whatever. Many people support some form of abortion, but yet don't believe that federal money should be used for it. Look, that's a personal choice. It's a personal decision. People who agree with your ability to do it do not believe that tax dollars, because it is such a controversial, hot-button issue, that federal money should be involved in it. But now the lunacy, the radical leftism is so great that even if you're one of those people who may be on her side in terms of you may not be where Rob Kendall is on abortion, but maybe you support some form of abortion, some form, unlike me, who I believe abortion should be banned with the exception of rape, incest, health of the mother. Maybe you're a person who believes 15 weeks or 20 weeks or, first trimester, whatever it is. Now, what Cori Bush is saying is even if you're a person who supports her in that sense, you are racist and discriminatory if you believe that federal money should not be used to facilitate that. This is the point I'm trying to make. It never ends with radical leftism. It never stops. No matter how you appease it, it will never be sufficient. And if you don't go along with it, you'll be called racist and discriminatory. Now, Cori Bush continued. She also wants federal lands to be available for abortion services. This is why we're here. This is why we're here, and this is what the left still doesn't realize, and they're not going to accept, and they're never going to come to grips with, is that the Roe versus Wade was overturned because Mississippi passed a very reasonable law which said, we now understand with definitive proof fetuses can feel pain at 15 weeks. And the basis of Roe was essentially when does, and I'm simplifying a very complex issue, but essentially the judges had in the past ruled, when does a fetus feel pain had kind of become the benchmark for the standard of state abortion bans, right? Roe versus Wade, up to allowed abortion, up to a certain point, and the judges had said, and this has been going on for years and years and years, hey, whenever we can definitively say a fetus feels pain, we will allow states to enact abortion bans. Again, I'm simplifying a very complex thing, but we only have a certain amount of time here. And what the Mississippi case said was, hey, we now know, based on these studies, and this is what they presented to the courts, etc., and that's what the law was based on, that number is now no longer 20 weeks, it's now 15 weeks. And so we're asking for our law, this law we're crafting, to reflect the fact that at 15 weeks, a fetus can definitively feel pain amongst many other functions. And if the left had just let that go, which was the standard for Roe, we wouldn't have had the overturning of Roe versus Wade. We only had the overturning of Roe versus Wade because radical leftism and their lust for on-demand abortion from conception to live birth said, no, we're not doing that. We don't care what your little study says. We don't care what, I thought we were trusting the science, but in this case, we don't care what the science says. We need abortion on demand from conception to live birth, and we're not giving any ground on abortion. And so they challenged the Mississippi abortion law. And ultimately that opened the door for the judges to say, hey, not only is the Mississippi abortion law, not only should it stand, but we're also saying that Roe versus Wade was wrongly decided. There is no constitutional right to an abortion. And this is what the left does. Because they're so radical in their beliefs, they're so vocal in their beliefs, they're so absolute in their beliefs, that if you can't compromise with them, and if you try, you're a bad guy. And this is what turns people off. Look, the idea, the public overwhelmingly polling show does not want federal funding for abortion. Many people who are for certain types of abortion do not want federal funding to go to abortion. People do not want federal lands to be used for abortion. And what the left essentially does every single time, and it's what they did in the Mississippi abortion case, is you force judges to choose. You force society to choose. People who want to find middle ground, you say, no. The left says, no, there is no middle ground. The Cory Bushes of the world, not only is there no middle ground, if you don't agree with us, you're racist and discriminatory. And what people say is, okay, then. I'm going to go to the side where I am the majority on, which is life, if I have to choose. The left just cannot stop shooting themselves in the foot. 93 WIBC, it's Kendall and Casey Show.
As a Shane Company jewelry consultant,
I see so many customers who have struggled to find a wedding band at other stores. When they come to Shane Company, they find the one. Not only do we have the widest selection of unique wedding bands, we are also experts at helping you find the perfect band to complement your engagement ring, even if it's an heirloom ring. You can play around with stacking bands, try contour bands, or just go with something simple. There are so many options. We also have handsome men's bands, hundreds of styles to choose from in every price range. You might have no idea what you want, but we'll take the time to show you different metal types, fits, and styles. You can even build your own with our online tool. And we offer a free lifetime warranty. Come see us and we'll help you both find a band that you love wearing every day. For some helpful tips, check out our online wedding band guide.
Now you have a friend in the jewelry business. Shane Company and ShaneCo.com.
Think back. Think back to when back or neck pain didn't rule your life. Now, think about standing up to back pain today. Because you can. With highly skilled care from IU Health, Indiana's only nationally ranked healthcare system. Our spine experts use an integrated approach to care and the latest surgical and non-surgical methods, so you can move away from back pain and on with life. Schedule a safe in-office appointment or visit us virtually at iuhealth.org/spine program.
My name is Taylor McLean, and my brother saved 5 lives. In 2016, when my brother, Hoosier race car driver Brian Clausen, tragically died in a racing accident, he became a hero because of his decision to be an organ donor. That decision has inspired countless others to do the same.
All of it was such a story, and the way it all connected together, every layer of it.
NASCAR champ Ryan Newman sat down with Indiana Donor Network and shared what inspired him to join the Driven to Save Lives movement.
The reality was he did a great thing, but the chain of events and how it affected other people, I believe, made him a legend. Made him somebody special, even more special than just being a race car driver, than just being a friend or a family member. When you're giving like that, you become legendary.
Join the movement and sign up as an organ donor at driventosavelives.org.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
A former leader assassinated. Spotty showers on radar, 75 downtown. I'm Kurt Darling. Here's what's trending at 9:30. World leaders reacting to the death of former Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe, who was shot to death while campaigning for his political party in Japan. Fox's Tanya J. Powers.
Secretary of State Antony Blinken, speaking for the G20 in Indonesia, called Abe's death shocking and profoundly disturbing.
It's also such a strong personal loss for so many people. For the United States, Prime Minister Abe was an extraordinary partner.
Abe was killed when a gunman who is now in custody opened fire just minutes into his speech at a train station in Nara. Tanya J. Powers, Fox News.
President Biden saying he's outraged and saddened by Abe's death as well. The president will address reproductive health care services and how to protect access to them in a speech this morning. It comes as the White House is pressing Congress to codify or lock in abortion rights in the U.S. following the Supreme Court's decision to overturn Roe v. Wade. In the meantime, State House Minority Leader Phil Giaquinta will be meeting with Vice President Kamala Harris today to discuss abortion laws in Indiana. And now the stock report. The Dow is down 25 at the opening bell to 31,342. The Nasdaq is plummeting 119 points to 12,019, and the S&P 500 down 16 to 3,888. I'm Kurt Darling on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Just as you feel the effects of summertime heat, your house feels it too. Indiana Foundation Services knows this and is ready to help. With a lack of rain, the soil under your foundation shrinks and causes your home to settle. And then those random summertime rainstorms pouring through the cracked soil causes leaks in your basement that damage your home's health and value. And let's not forget the humidity festering in your crawl space, making it nasty and unreliable. You'll know this is happening to your home when you notice cracks in your walls or exterior brick, uneven floors, doors and windows that stick, while mold and musty smells lurk just below. Not good. Indiana Foundation Services can help you protect and repair your most valuable investment, your home. With foundation, basement, and crawl space solutions delivered at the highest level of expertise, Indiana Foundation Services offers free, no-obligation inspections and financing plans at every budget. Visit IndianaFoundation.com and schedule your free inspection today.
Indiana Foundation Service, reliability from the ground up.
When the weather turns severe, turn to the WIBC Storm Desk. Presented by Technology Recyclers. Recycle your e-waste. Visit tech-recyclers.com.
%88% of the country says we're headed in the wrong direction, and Biden has no answers. 93 WIBC. It's Kendall and Casey show. I'm Rob. Kevin's here. Abdul scheduled to join us here in just a little bit. Don't forget, play along now. In addition to the magic of the radio and streaming, you can watch the program. 3 different ways to do that. You can head over to the YouTube page. Just type in Kendall and Casey WIBC in your YouTube browser. You can watch the show there. Also, the streaming live up on Facebook, the WIBC Facebook stream, and also WIBC Twitter feed. So 3 different ways to find and watch the program. Before we get to this new polling on Biden and how people view the world, Kevin, have I ever told you that our audience is absolutely the best audience in the entire world? Have I ever told you that?
Yeah, it seems like you're very appreciative.
It always floors me how many people listen to this radio station. And I've long said this. One of the crazy things about radio is you're sitting in a room basically by yourself. I mean, in this case, we don't have a co-host right now, but there's a co-host. Casey's here, fill in, whatever, and Kevin's here. And so in my mind, I often forget, you think it's just 3 people sitting around talking. And I spent most of my youth talking to myself, so it's no big deal for me to sit here and talk to myself. But you forget there's this vast world out there of people from Illinois to Ohio and all points in between. And then when you factor in the internet, I mean, all across the globe that are listening. And so sometimes you forget the power of this radio station. And I was reminded yesterday when we were talking about how Kevin is planning a trip to the Paragon race course this weekend.
Paragon Speedway.
Paragon Speedway, yes. In southern Indiana. Your family owns part of the racetrack, and we were talking about it. And then we started getting emails and social media accounts from people who have been there, are going to be there. One woman wants to take photographs of Kevin. It's amazing. No matter where we're at in Indiana, people are listening and want to be a part of the radio station. And I mentioned that because, as you know, last week I braved the elements and was able to head out to Plainfield to go attempt to have a conversation with United States Senator Todd Young, and that didn't go very well because, his staff was very rude and terrible and had the armed deputy there and banned the filming. And we've already been through all that. But anyway, at the time we'd had the debate, should I go? Because, again, we knew they'd be very rude and mean to me. But also, gas is very expensive. And, it's very valuable resources. And my time is very valuable. And we went through all this on the air, and ultimately we decided the audience was important enough that we should do that. And so in the mail today, we opened the mail. And by the way, we have a rule here on this program. I don't open the mail. It's Kevin's job to open the mail in case somebody from the Indiana Republican Party decides to send us a letter. I got this very fabulous letter from a listener. It says, Rob, keep up the good fight for conservative Hoosiers. Gas money included as offered to expose Todd Young. And they put a $20 bill in there to pay for the gas. They got $20 worth of enjoyment of me going out and making Todd Young's day miserable.
You are truly loved.
Oh, it's great. So to whoever sent that, phenomenal. Thank you. We were, of course, kidding. But that's how loyal and awesome our audience is. Making Todd Young and his staff's day miserable was worth $20 to that person. All right, so let's get to this new poll out that shows 88% say the U.S. is headed in the wrong direction. It's a Monmouth survey, came out the other day. I've been meaning to get to it, didn't just, variety of reasons didn't get to it. And that is a staggering number of people. Now, only 6% of Republicans said the country is headed in the right direction. But what's more shocking is that only 18% of Democrats said the country is headed in the right direction. So if you're the Biden administration, that's not something where you can go, oh, those radical Republicans are really screwing up our polling. Oh, that ultra MAGA crowd and the radical extremism. Of course, they're never going to say we're doing anything well. Only 18% of the people in your own party who overwhelmingly voted for you are saying the country's headed in the right direction. And so Karine Jean-Pierre, the spokesperson for the Biden administration, was asked about this the other day. And as usual with her, she's got absolutely nothing. Take a listen.
People in this country, polled by Monmouth, think the country's on the wrong track.
So I'll say this. The president understands what the American people are going through. He understands that gas prices are high because of Putin's tax hike, because of the war that the brutal war that Putin has taken on in Ukraine, and their brave fight for their democracy. That's what we're seeing here. And also the food insecurity, the food cost has skyrocketed, and that's why the president has done everything that he can to blunt those high prices.
Nothing makes people more upset, whether we are talking about the administration for the President of the United States, or we're talking about an experience you had at your local grocery store or eatery, when you're getting poor service, you're getting a poor result, and you ask someone to fix it, and they just keep regurgitating things that one, are bullcrap, and two, that are not going to solve the problem. And that's what you get from this administration time and time and time again. Bullcrap and things that aren't going to solve the problem. Nobody is buying that this is Vladimir Putin's fault. They didn't buy it when it started. There might have been a window there where some of the population was willing to briefly go along with, yeah, boy, the Putin stuff is really making things worse. But they knew what it was before the Ukraine-Russian war started. By the way, we are not at war with Russia. We are not at war with anyone that I'm aware of. When we talk about, Biden, they're talking about we are at war when he's talking about the gas companies and the gas stations better affect the gas prices, lower the gas. We're not at war with anyone. Everything we are doing is self-imposed. The Putin stuff, and we told you, and Kevin, my least favorite part of every show is when I got to get in these very powerful airwaves that are clearly so listened to and beloved by so many people and talk about how right I was. But I got to do it here, and it pains me. But we told you months and months and months ago when the whole Ukraine-Russia thing started, and Biden said, we're gonna hit them where it hurts. We're gonna cut off energy supply to the United States. We said that's not gonna affect anything. That's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt us. And I'll be darned, who's it hurt? It's hurt us. The ruble, the Russian currency, doing very well. Vladimir Putin's still there. Russia's still on the move. Still doing what they do. Who got hurt? Us. Gas prices higher. It punished us. Regular people should not be able to look at things and go, that's a really dumb idea. When the President of the United States and his administration that has access to all sorts of data and advisors and everything else, how do they keep getting it wrong? And then you keep trying to blame it on this guy. It's not Putin's fault. It's like 3% of it is Putin's fault, right? All these other things would have been happening. The other side of this, we talk about food insecurity. We talk about people not being able to get food because you being the Democrats, along with many Republicans, but certainly Joe Biden and the radical left Democrats, wholeheartedly supported the shutdown of society. You know why there's supply chain issues? Because you shut down society, of which you guys not only supported, but you were finger-wagging and scolding and shaming people like me that said, hey, shutting down society is a really dumb idea. We can probably figure out a way to stay open and still protect the most vulnerable. Oh, you want to kill grandma. You are the problem. Your views are the problem. Your policies are the problem. Then Karine Jean-Pierre gets asked about it. It basically said, hey, is it just maybe that Biden's economic plan isn't all that popular and people are sick of it, and that's why 88% of the country thinks we're on the wrong track? And she said this. That should enrage, what you just heard right there should enrage everyone. And I heard Tony talking about it, maybe it was this morning, maybe it was yesterday in his midday show. The idea that you shut down society, you put millions and millions and millions of people out of work, you closed hundreds of thousands of businesses. And then when those businesses reopen because you, and I'm doing air quotes here for people could see on the camera, you permitted them to reopen, that's not creating jobs. What you did, and by you did, I mean every politician who either mandated shutdowns, Eric Holcomb, or politicians who funded the facilitation of shutdowns, the bribing of governors like Eric Holcomb to shut down their states, Todd Young. What you did in 2020 was one of the grossest, most disgusting things done in American history. It's way up there. The suffering that you imposed, and now the suffering that is happening today through inflation, through a regress of buying power, etc. It is the gift, to steal a line from Christmas Vacation, that's the gift that keeps on giving. You didn't create jobs just because people were able to go back to work. And nobody is buying this bullcrap, yet that's all the Biden administration has to peddle. Bullcrap and things that aren't making things any better. 93 WIBC, it's Kendall and Casey Show.
We're letting you know when you need plumbing help, call who I call, my friends at Hope Plumbing. Not only are they experts in their field who respect the true value of customer service, they also love giving back to this community, which is evident in their new referral program. If you refer a friend, Hope Plumbing will give you and the referral a $50 gift card to a local restaurant. Great plumbing and supporting local restaurants. For more information, visit hopeplumbing.com.
Join Mark Patrick Seminars and stop smoking now without cravings, irritability, weight gain, or your money back. Only $49.99 guaranteed. Also, let Mark Patrick Hypnosis destroy unwanted food cravings and lose the weight. Seminars Thursday, July 28th at the Hampton Inn and Suites in Fishers. Weight loss seminar 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. Stop smoking seminar 8 to 10 p.m. And Saturday, July 30th at the La Quinta Inn and Suites South in Indianapolis. Weight loss seminar 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Stop smoking seminar 2 to 4 p.m. Registration begins 30 minutes before seminar.
Oh, McDonald's sounds pretty good. Especially since a double cheeseburger and small fry is only $3. That might be the move. Wait, a 6-piece McNuggets and small fry is also just $3? Tempting. But then the Daily Double is just $3 too. Sheesh. I guess good things do come in threes. Except any size Coke. That's only $1. Prices and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal.
Man, I slept.
New ZzzQuil Pure Z's Restorative Herbal Sleep is made for people who are tired of being tired.
I've never slept like this before. I've never woken up like this before.
A melatonin-free sleep aid made with a botanical blend that contains clinically studied and effective valerian root, hops, and passion flower, shown to help promote better restorative sleep. ZzzQuil Pure Z's Restorative Herbal Sleep. Sleep this good. Feel this good. Available at retailers near you.
5X480. Dayton B100 V-Belt, one of the many parts Grainger carries. It's also the item that helped Rob carry the day. The job was on hold, deadline fast approaching, but a quick search on Grainger.com and Rob found his part. And with same-day pickup at his local branch, he and his crew got the job done, safely and on time. Get supplies and solutions for every industry with real-time product availability. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
So it is time to realize your life is but an inconvenience for the Biden administration. 93 WIBC, it's the Kendall and Casey show. I'm Rob. Abdul will join us next hour. Kevin's here. And by the way, don't forget, you can watch online now via the YouTube feed, via the Facebook feed, via the Twitter feed. If you're on YouTube, just type in Kendall and Casey, WIBC. If you are in the Facebook world, just head over to WIBC Facebook page. You can watch there. Or you can also participate via the Twitter feed. And Kevin, we had some people saying the audio was low on that we're playing on the YouTube feed. So on the slider that we play the audio on, if you can make sure like 1, 2, and 3 are pressed down on in terms of what little guy. All right, well, we'll have to figure that out. That's an engineering issue. But right now I have some fabulous audio to play for you from Jennifer Granholm. She is the Energy Secretary. And a huge issue on why the Biden administration is doing so poorly. One is their radical left beliefs. But you just have brutally, completely, utterly incompetent people running very important stuff. People who have no business running very important stuff. Like if you think in your daily life, whatever company you work for, if you own a company, think about if your existence depended upon unqualified people making vital choices because of who they know. How long would that company last? That's the thing about the real world, right? That's the thing about owning a private business, is there isn't any benefit to putting somebody in just because they supported you. Because if they don't perform, the company goes under. But that's not the way it is in the government. Because the government has, air quote, infinite money. Oh, it's a failure. Well, we'll just print some more money. Oh, then go out. Well, what are you going to do about it? People can't opt out of the government. If you own a widget company and your widgets all fail, people will go to another widget company. You don't have a monopoly on widgets. In the government, though, you can't opt out of your government. You can't just not pay your taxes. You can't just not comply with what the government tells you to do. I mean, you could, but has that ever ended well for anyone ever? So the government knows, Joe Biden knows, I don't have to hire competent people. I don't have to hire people who have their act together. I don't have to hire people or promote people who have years or a track record of great results in whatever field. And so this is the case with energy. It's the case with transportation. Part of the reason we're doing so poorly in these sectors is in the case of energy, of Jennifer Granholm, former governor of Michigan, totally unqualified. You have Pete Buttigieg in front of transportation, totally unqualified. What does Pete Buttigieg know about transportation? Like, there's a million different places you probably could have put Pete Buttigieg, certainly things related to the military, and go, okay, he's totally there because he supported Biden, but at least he's qualified. He served in the U.S. military. Pete Buttigieg was the mayor of South Bend, and we talked about it many times on the show. You ever been to South Bend? It sucks there. The roads suck. The sidewalks suck. The bridges suck. Everything about related to transportation is horrific. That is the last place you should have put Pete Buttigieg, and what do you know? You put him in charge of transportation, and now that stinks too. But here's Jennifer Granholm admitting that to the Biden administration, your life is but an inconvenience, and for this administration, you're inconveniencing them. Your outrage over gas prices, energy prices is inconveniencing them, and now they got to kind of deal with it because it's such a big deal as it relates to their green energy obsession. Take a listen.
The Biden administration has been thinking boldly as well about I want to share a little bit about what we are doing. The agenda for climate is facing headwinds, given what we are seeing right now with respect to oil, the crimp in oil supply and the price of gas. Obviously, that is a challenge when we are also trying to accelerate this movement toward clean, but it has never been more essential, obviously, to the U.S.'s, to the world's long-term health, than to address the issue of climate change and decarbonizing than ever before. So
there you go. The world is collapsing around them. Energy prices at or near all-time highs. People having to make incredibly difficult choices about going to work, what to do with their kids, etc. And yet the focus remains not on helping you, not on saying, okay, man, we kind of had this. Look, anybody who's ever owned a business will agree with this on some level. And I can say this as a former business owner. Throughout the course of owning a business, especially once you stabilize your business, you come up with some wild and wacky ideas sometimes. If you're doing all right, things are going okay, you come up with some wild and wacky ideas. Like, hey, we had a good month. Let's try this. Well, I don't know, Rob. That's there's no track record to show that would really that would really work or be of any benefit. Yeah, but we had a good month, and the end game, the outcome could be incredible. Yeah, but it's probably not going to work. There's nothing to show it would work. Yeah, but let's have some fun. Let's go. The problem is, this is what they're. If you do it with your own money, your own business, whatever, and we've all done it. The problem is they're doing it in real time with the American people's business as it relates to this green energy, pie-in-the-sky bull-crap obsession. Look, if you want to have a vision that someday there will be no gasoline, okay, go to work on that in your spare time. You find private people to promote that or whatever. But the reality is they're taking the air quote, fun risk that business owners take if they had a great month on some wild and wacky vision, but the company is not doing well. It'd be like if, your company was on the verge of bankruptcy and you say, hey, I know what'll fix it. And you're doing the wild and wacky idea when you're not even doing the nuts and bolts well. They don't do anything well. They don't block and tackle. They don't anything. And yet, despite people suffering in a country where no one should suffer because of the wealth and resources and liberties and freedoms that we have, she's not focused on getting back to nuts and bolts and blocking and tackling. She's focused on the wild and wacky idea that won't be available for another 100 years, 50 years, whatever. Point is, right now, it's not anywhere close. And that's because ideology drives the obsession of these people. Everything is ideologically driven with the Biden administration. Your life is but an inconvenience. Wanted to touch on something positive because we don't have enough positivity in the world. And I saw where former President Jimmy Carter and his wife Rosalind are celebrating their 76th wedding anniversary. Now look, you can whatever about Jimmy Carter as a president, and he was a horrific president, and he was one of the worst presidents in American history, undisputable. No argument here, dark times, very amazing how the times of the late 1970s mirror what's going on today. Very, very incredible. No doubt. But, that being said, you can still be a terrible president and be a decent person, be a good husband, and have an incredible story. And for that, we give credit. That Jimmy Carter, after his time as President of the United States, has spent much of his life giving back and helping others and helping the less fortunate. And he has had an incredible love story with his wife, Rosalind Carter. My grandparents were married 72 years. And I always thought that was absolutely incredible. The idea of living 76 years is simply an amazing accomplishment given today's day and age. Much less being married, being devoted, and living your life with someone for 76 years. I mean, think about, what is Jimmy Carter? Is he 96, 97? Whatever he is. The fact that you would live that long period. I mean, because you don't get married when you're 5. You're in your late teens, or people their age were late teens, early 20s. The idea that both spouses would live that long in and of itself is absolutely incredible. Much less that they would stay together that long, through thick and thin. So on the show, sometimes we just got to pause and say, yeah, sure, he sucked as a president. But what an amazing life. What an amazing life story. And what a salute for 76 years of marriage. All right, let's take a break. When we come back, Abdul will be here. We'll get into all the latest rumor, gossip, and innuendo about what's going on with the Indiana General Assembly, the special session, abortion, the tax refunds in jeopardy. We'll talk about it coming up next.
It's the first day of the first grade, and she found a new best friend. It's a laid-back Sunday afternoon you wish would never end.
The homemade taste of Bluebell and good friends gathered round. The good old days are being made right now.
Some things sound so good you can almost taste it. Like Bluebell strawberry lemonade ice cream. Delicious strawberry ice cream swirled with lemonade sherbet and sprinkled with lemon-flavored flakes. It's better than you can imagine.
The good old days are being made right now.
The good old days are being made right now.
Look for Bluebell ice cream at Needler's Fresh Market and Walgreens.
Garage Doors of Indianapolis has been a local, family-owned and operated business for nearly 50 years and helps keep Central Indiana's economy strong by employing over 70 families. Garage Doors of Indianapolis stands by their products and services while they share and embrace our conservative values. So when you have garage door problems, call them today for service today. Garage Doors of Indianapolis, 875-4577, 875-4577, or visit doorstoday.com.
It's time for the Crest Point Real Estate Market Minute.
It's Terry Stacy with us is Patrick Keller, managing broker and owner of Crest Point Real Estate, Indy's real estate experts. Hello, Patrick.
Hello, everyone. Excited to give you a real estate market update here in the middle of summer 2022. I would say that right now I feel like the real estate market is pretty balanced. I started real estate in 2014, 2015, and it feels very much so like that market where some houses would sell very quickly and some houses would get multiple offers, but other homes would stay on the market for a while, sometimes 3, 4, 5, 6 months or even longer. And so what that tells me is we are now in a market where your house has to be pretty buttoned up if you're going to go to the market, and you want to make sure that it shows well and it's in good condition. And the days of just throwing your house on in as-is condition are starting to end.
Get your home value estimate in 60 seconds at patrickkeller.realtor.
When was the last time you practiced your home fire escape plan? Be sure everyone in your family knows what to do if there's a fire. Get out, stay out. Ensure fire safe response.
Your one blood donation can help save the lives of up to 3 people. Give blood through the American Red Cross to help hospital patients. Visit redcrossblood.org today.
Coming up in 2 minutes, the rain has returned, but there's a little more in store this afternoon. Plus, the plans for libertarians and what they hope to accomplish if things go well in November. And are you happy living in Indiana? Well, that may depend on how much money you make, says a survey. All that and more coming up from the Shepherd Community Center studios after Fox News. You're listening to 93 WIBC, WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. It's 10 o'clock.
A slight drop in hiring. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News, with the number of Americans finding new work far exceeded expectations last month amid fears of an inflation-caused recession.
372,000 jobs added in the month of June. The expectation was for 268,000. The jobless rate is staying at 3.6%.
Fox Business Network Cheryl Casoni. President Biden in a statement says it's part of the strongest, fastest job recovery in history. Labor Secretary Marty Walsh just told Fox Business this report shows
private sector
employment is back to pre-pandemic level. We're seeing manufacturing back to pre-pandemic level. We saw a good growth in childcare workers this month, first time in quite some time.
He says they still have work to do, though, in lowering inflation, blaming Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Russia's leader just said if sanctions punishing them continue, it could lead to catastrophic consequences for the global market. Next hour, President Biden will issue an executive order on abortion 2 weeks after the Supreme Court ruling undid the federal legal right to abortions, letting states ban or restrict them.
The actions will include new measures to safeguard access to contraception. The president will also direct the Department of Health and Human Services to make sure abortion-related medication is available as widely as possible. The order also seeks to clarify the legal protection and responsibility of healthcare providers in treating a pregnancy-related medical emergency.
That's Fox's Alexandria Hoff. The president has condemned the assassination of Japan's former Prime Minister Shinzo Abe, saying he's stunned, outraged, and deeply saddened. Abe was attacked at a campaign event. Caught on tape by broadcaster NHK. He was shot from behind by a gunman, tackled by security, and arrested. Now, former President Trump called it devastating news. Abe was the first foreign leader to meet with him after winning in 2016. The former president's White House counsel, Pat Cipollone, is at the House this morning talking privately to the Democrat-led House committee probing the Capitol riot. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level. On the go.
Enjoy the rain, but also be careful. Showers on radar. It is 75 downtown. I'm Kirk Darling. Here's what's trending at 10:02. Chances for storms today throughout the state, especially in the afternoon.
The main thing we're going to be worried about today is damaging winds, and there may be some small hail, and can't rule out a tornado, but the main threat today is going to be damaging winds.
Andrew White with the National Weather Service. The greatest risk is to the south, essentially anywhere south of I-70. White says, though the rain is surely welcome, it is not enough to move some places in Indiana out of drought-like conditions. A missing 2-year-old girl has been found safe. IMPD says it was tips from the community that helped them find Jaylee Laston. They haven't ruled out foul play and why she went missing. A few big crashes going on right now thanks to the rain. A jackknife semi has 465 slow on the south side. Also an overturned truck along I-74 right at the I-465 interchange on the southeast side has traffic slow. Libertarians in Indiana select the candidates that they run at private conventions and not by publicly funded primaries like Republicans and Democrats. That's because libertarians don't have to hold primaries under current state standards, but that could change if the party keeps building momentum.
I've been planning for this day and filing a lawsuit against the state over the requirement to hold a primary.
Party Chairman Evan McMahon tells Indy Politics that political parties should not be required to hold primaries while using public money. A threat was made against a Lebanon school on the 4th of July. Sasha Nixon reports.
The Lebanon Police Department reported that an anonymous threat was made against one of the schools in the Lebanon Community School Corporation Monday. Their investigation led them to believe that an unnamed boy was responsible. Police have not provided many updates thus far. They have only said that the boy and his family were contacted. Sasha Nixon, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
And are you happy living here in Indiana? Well, a recent survey shows that in order to be happy in Indiana, you have to be making at least $95,000 a year. The Go Banking Rates survey says that much money will allow people to live comfortably in the Hoosier State. I'm Kirk Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Hi, it's Steve Mann. Have you heard the commercials for the Mark Patrick Stop Smoking seminars? And they said only $49.99 and it could work for you. So I thought, that's not even a week's worth of smoking. So I went. And guess what? It did work for me. You know, my friends and family are still amazed. I quit smoking. I didn't have cravings, anxiety, or weight gain. Listen, I don't know how it works, but I know it works because I'm living proof, and it's 100% guaranteed. So what do you got to lose? I'll tell you what you got to lose. A very bad habit.
Join Mark Patrick seminars and stop smoking now without cravings, irritability, weight gain, or your money back. Only $49.99 guaranteed. Designed to work without anxiety, irritability, or weight gain for only $49.99. Become a non-smoker. That's right. Seminar times are 8 to 10 p.m. on Thursday, July 28th at the Hampton Inn & Suites in Fishers, and 2 to 4 p.m. on Saturday, July 30th at the La Quinta Inn & Suites South in Indianapolis. Registration 30 minutes before seminar.
Diamonds Direct is making your summer shine with their store-wide summer sale. Get ready. It's July 15th through the 17th. The entire weekend, enjoy extra savings. 20% off Diamonds Direct's already unbeatable prices on a multi-million-dollar selection of rings, earrings, bands, bracelets. Virtually everything's on sale. Plus, top jewelry designers flying in with all new collections. It's the buying opportunity of the season. Extra savings store-wide. Mark your calendar. July 15th through 17th only. And only at Diamonds Direct. Details and more at diamondsdirect.com.
This hour on 93 WIBC is powered by this weekend's Indianapolis Early Music Festival. Visit iemusic.org for tickets today.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
The Republican Party in Indiana sees zero problem in record spending, in record taxation.
And Casey Daniels.
You went out there and said, please vote for me. You debated other people on why you're the better person for the position. Suck it up.
This is the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
So what in the world is going on at the Indiana State House as it relates to the special session? Let's find out. 93 WIBC. It's Kendall and Casey Show. I'm Rob Kevins here. Casey's out today, and oh, look who it is. Hello.
Hello, my friend. How's it going?
You look well.
It's my last Catan.
By the way, I was laughing. Abdul Hakim Shabazz in studio with us. I was laughing because I saw Russia is threatening to take back Alaska now as part of their ongoing proxy battle with the United States. I thought, boy, they just missed you by a
by a week and some change,
by a couple of days. Real quick before we get in, let everybody know you can now view the program. 3 different ways to view the program: YouTube, just type in Kendall and Casey WIBC; Facebook, WIBC Facebook page, and the WIBC Twitter stream. And yes, we do know we were having some issues with the audio clips we were playing. Those supposedly have been corrected. Thank you to those of you. That's what I love about our audience. They're the first to point out all of our mistakes. the hired hands letting us know. So yes, we think we've corrected that thanks to our very fabulous staff here. Okay, so we started the show earlier today, and I'm going to walk through 3 issues with you that came up yesterday that are highly alarming, and we delved into this a little bit on the award-winning State House Happenings show we do every Sunday morning, airs every Sunday morning here on WIBC. You have been talking to people inside the Indiana Republican Party because, let's face it, the Democrats don't matter in this equation. And they are still, even though, it's go time, right? They're still all over the map in terms of this abortion debate and discussion.
You are correct, sir. I want to say the governor originally called the special session back on July 5th. That's where Democrats had their news conference about tax cuts and the reproductive rights. Republicans were actually meeting in Indianapolis offsite at a caucus to sort of figure out where everybody is and finally sit down and sort of talk face to face. And I was told it was a very serious discussion, a very thoughtful discussion, and actually a very respectful discussion, not a whole lot of yelling and screaming and pounding on the chest and that sort of thing, which actually take as a positive sign. Now, with that said, I've been talking to a number of lawmakers sort of privately to figure out where are they on the abortion issue.
Right.
Because I jokingly say pro-life and pro-choice are kind of like American League and National League. There are different degrees of
right.
Some people have good pitching staff, some people have good outfielders, some people have good designated hitters, the whole 9 yards. And what I found from the dozen or so lawmakers that I spoke to, a lot of them don't. Most of them don't have a problem. Matter of fact, I would say all of them don't have a problem with an exemption for the mother's life is in danger.
Right.
That they're all cool with. Now, the next 2 areas, whether it's rape or incest, for the most part, they can see they see those exemptions, even though some of them may not necessarily agree with those exemptions, but they understand those exemptions happening.
So we referred to it yesterday, or I referred to it yesterday on State House Happenings. I said, if we cut through the baloney, what you're hearing, and this is common sense, and I don't think anybody thought otherwise. There's a handful, maybe 3 to 5 lawmakers who say no abortion for anything ever. Okay, that's not happening. Most of the lawmakers, at the very least, if we check the box, the conversation starts with abortion ban, with the exceptions for rape, incest, health of the mother, right?
For the most part.
Yeah. Okay.
But there are other dynamics in that as well. For example, let's say the medical abortions, because not all abortions are surgical. Some of them are just we take a couple pills and you're good. Do you ban those pills from being used in Indiana? Okay, but those pills are legal at the federal level. How can you ban them at the state level? It's almost sort of like saying marijuana is illegal at the federal level, but we want to legalize it statewide. So okay, so what are you looking at here?
Okay, so here's the issue though, and whatever. So really, the debate now is: are you going to have abortion ban with the exceptions for rape, incest, health of the mother, or are they going to do some sort of legal abortion up to a certain period, whatever the Dobbs was, 15 weeks, and that's really where the discussion is right now. Are we talking about just restricting the limit, the I guess age or the time frame in which women can get abortions, or are we talking about chopping off abortion period with these exceptions? That's kind of where the discussion is right now.
Like I said, right now the discussion is still sort of all over the place.
Okay, fine, great. Now we get to the meat and potatoes of what has me super honked off, because whatever people are going to come down on, I'm not going to agree with a whole bunch of people on things. Fine, whatever, accept that. I expect my lawmakers to walk through the front door in the sunshine. And the fact that these guys and girls are having some off-site meeting in a closed-door room where no one knows what the hell they're talking about, except maybe you, because you get all the info, when you have for 30 years told me how proud you were to be pro-life, how you've fundraised off this, how you've campaigned off this, and I don't have the right to know what your opinion is, even though you've asked for money from me and you've asked for votes from me, until you waltz your ass into the State House on July the 25th. What a bunch of cowards.
Well, let me sort of take a step back here on this whole abortion issue. Back in 1995, I think it was, when I was a young reporter in Springfield, Illinois, I met this young lady.
Oh, yeah.
Drop dead, beautiful, gorgeous. Almost as lovely as the lovely Mrs.
That was harder when it was harder to do background checks.
Yeah, much harder. And no social media, by the way. So we kind of went back and forth for almost like a 10-year win, almost sort of like Sam and Diane from Cheers.
Only you would compare yourself to one of the most famous television characters of all time.
Yes, and they come in second.
Because when you look in the mirror, that's what you see. Abdul Hakim Shabazz, Sam Malone, 1A and 1B.
I'm more like Frasier, actually. I'm reaching out to you, Bod. So we kind of went back and forth on the whole dating thing. Nothing really happened until one day back in 2004, we're all out having martinis, and she said, "Okay, Abdul, I'll go out with you." I'm like, "What?"
Yeah,
I'll go out with you. Like, what? Yeah, I'll date you. Like, yeah. For those rare moments in my entire life, I was actually speechless. Because for so long, I've been just sort of doing the chase. Okay, what happens if you actually catch the damn thing? And so I argue with the abortion issue is just like that. It's my Republican friends are the dogs that caught the car.
Yeah.
The dog chases a car. You got Bruce.
Oh, yeah.
Bruce doesn't chase much of anything.
No. It's food. That's about it.
Food. Yeah, but the dog finally catches the car. Okay, so what do you do with it? And so now after 30, 40, 50 years of saying, hey, we want to protect life and defend life. Okay, now here's your chance.
Because WTHR, it came out, I don't know if you've seen this, but WTHR now reported that they attempted to do the same thing Indy Star did, where they said, hey, we reached out to all 150 members of the Indiana General Assembly, and almost exactly like with Indy Star, got almost no response back from Republicans. And the Republican excuse where Indy Star was, well, they're super liberal and we're not responding to them. That's a hit piece. So is THR also out doing hit pieces? I mean, they listed the questions they asked them. It's very straightforward. There's no gotcha questions in there. It's no different than what you asked in your informal survey. And if people can respond to an informal survey who aren't even lawmakers, I don't think there's any gotcha there. I mean, come on. The special session was supposed to have started by now, and the fact that
you're saying my friends at Channel 13 tried to do the exact same thing and didn't get anywhere?
They got nowhere. That's pathetic.
I feel special.
Well, but it's not like you're getting somewhere on the record. I mean, a lot of people are talking to you behind closed doors. You haven't printed. Eric Holcomb says this is exactly what he will do. I mean, nobody's talking publicly. You didn't, and I don't blame you. People said don't give my name. That's fine. People talk behind the scenes all the time. No, only one Republican out of 110, and I think we know where Nicely is, but I think he's on vacation. Only one Republican out of 110 is willing to say what they think, including goobers like John Crane, who made pro-life the integral part of their campaign.
Well, I think the issue is it's getting some sort of draft or some sort of legislation first.
But why? And that's fine. I get minds can be changed in debate, Abdul. Hearts can be changed in debate, Abdul. I get that. But the fact that someone like John Crane, a state senator who made this an integral part of his campaign's plural about how pro-life he is, doesn't have the hair on his peaches to raise his hand and say, I'm walking in the room with this opinion. That's pathetic.
No, not necessarily. Because here's the thing. I believe in the public's right to know, always have been, but I don't necessarily need to believe the public needs to know right now. And so I have no qualms with lawmakers sort of talking. Let's sort of figure out where we are in this sort of Venn diagram.
But that's fine if you're going to build a consensus. But if you have asked for money and you've said, I'm Mr. Pro-Life, I'll use Jeff Thompson, who's my state rep. I'll use John Crane, who unfortunately is my state senator, as the examples. These guys have made gobs and gobs of money for their campaigns and have sent it out in mailers for years and years and years, telling me how pro-life they are. I get that a consensus builder, the end result may not be where you walk in the door. But the idea that not one of these people, other than John Jacob, has the hair on their peaches to tell the public, this is where I'm walking in, and I'll operate from there, that is pathetic.
Now, here's the question. Did you call Jeff Thompson?
What? No, what do you mean?
Did you call him?
It's not, the onus is not on me to go,
but you're right. Jeff Thompson ran, he was a pro-life candidate. You're a constituent. As a constituent, you can call your state rep. It's like, hey, where are you on this abortion issue?
I had a 20-minute conversation with him not 3 weeks ago about the gas tax, and jumping off the 7th floor here at the Emmis building would have been less painful. I'm not subjecting myself to that again.
You want me to call him?
Go ahead. Hopefully you'll get further than I did. All right, let's take a break because you were reporting, and this is the most Indiana Republican Party thing ever, that now not only is there abortion issues, now there's a big issue with the gas tax, well, not the gas tax repeal, but the what do they call that? Inflationary relief issue. Yes. Yeah, there's a big issue with that. Abdul's in. It's Kendall Casey Show, 93 WIBC.
When traffic's a bear, Matt Bear is a beast.
And now we have a crash southbound 69 and 96th Street. Traffic absolutely soul-crushing.
When you need to get from here,
crashes on the east side, south side,
to there,
north side, crashes everywhere. An absolute car apocalypse today in the Circle City.
Matt Bear.
Delays, and when I say delays, I mean stop traffic continues to build.
Mornings and afternoons.
So you're going to want to change your reroute. In fact, I'll tell you right
93
now.
WIBC.
America's leading internet provider just got even faster. Switch to Spectrum Internet, and you now get starting speeds of up to 300 megabits per second. Faster speeds for streaming, faster speeds for gaming, faster speeds for working or learning, all with 99.9% network reliability. So no matter what you do online, you can do it better, safer, and now even faster with Spectrum Internet. Visit Spectrum.com for details. Based on internet subscribers among top ISPs, speeds may vary. Restrictions apply.
Every search you make, every click you take, they'll be watching you.
Tired of companies like Google and Facebook watching everything you do online? There's actually a simple solution. DuckDuckGo. It's an all-in-one privacy app with a built-in private search engine, web browser, one-click data clearing, email protection, and more, all for free. Download the app today and get the most comprehensive privacy protection with the push of a button. DuckDuckGo. Privacy simplified.
What you've heard about probiotics is probably wrong.
I eat yogurt, so I don't need to take a probiotic.
Probiotics? They don't really work. It's time to learn the truth about probiotics and join the Align Healthy Gut Team Up. Align has probiotics to naturally help relieve occasional bloating, gas, and abdominal discomfort. Try Align probiotics for a month and see how great a healthy gut can feel. Get $2 off your first month of Align at alignprobiotics.com.
Go where the pros go. Drexel Interiors for Timberlake Kitchen and Bath Cabinets. Visit Drexel's new design center on 146th Street at River Road or on North Shadeland. DrexelIN.com.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
Oh, he's mean.
And Casey Daniels.
She's kind, she's humble.
On 93 WIBC.
Give me a ticket for an aeroplane.
So there's not only an issue with the Republicans trying to get consensus on abortion in Indiana. Now it turns out that I have a consensus on giving you your money back. Boy. my shocked face. 93 WIBC, it's Kendall and Casey show. I'm Rob.
You need to smile a little bit more. Just be a little bit happier.
Seeing you is all the joy I need for the entire day. See, Abdul's in for Casey today. Casey will be back Monday. Several people, where is Casey? Is she on the run from the law? Where is she at? Yes, she had a scheduled vacation. She'll be back on Monday. Don't forget, you can watch us now. And who wouldn't want to watch you? I can't think of anything better than looking at you all day, and I know you can't think of anything better either.
I don't think missing right here is a mirror.
You can watch us on YouTube. Just type in Kendall and Casey, WIBC, in your YouTube browser. Go to the WIBC Facebook page or the WIBC Twitter feed. All have the live stream up. Okay, so obviously, special session delayed. A bunch of people are really upset about this, not just because of the abortion side of things, which makes the Republican Party look disorganized, uncoordinated, but also they're sitting on a whole bunch of our money that they took that they don't have a use for right now that they're supposed to be giving back to us. And that got delayed 19 days as well. And now you reported, what was this? Was this the thing I give you money for?
The cheat sheet.
The cheat sheet, yes. The very fabulous cheat sheet that you can get your subscription now over at indiepolitics.org. Helps Abdul fund various vices and bad habits. That now there's some issue with giving us our money back. What's going on with that?
The issue is not necessarily the first tax cut, which is still about 40% of who have gotten their tax cut direct deposit-wise. My wife and I, we haven't gotten ours yet.
By the way, can we agree on this? And I said this on the air the other day, and I think we agreed on this on State House Happenings, that this is the equivalent when the Republicans do something like this for the Department of Revenue. They're not the IRS. This is the equivalent of taking a dump on the floor and going, somebody really ought to clean that up. They just give this agency that's not at all equipped to handle this and going, hope you figure that out.
Well, so this Department of Revenue's got to figure it out, and also the state auditor's office got to figure it out too, because they write all the write all the checks. So, but the issue is, it's not so much the first tax cut. Like I said, the first tax cut or tax refund is working its way through the system. It's the second refund that the governor talked about, the $225 and some change. For Hoosier taxpayers. What the issue is that you have a lot of Hoosiers who don't file income taxes because they don't make enough money to file income taxes.
Right.
They're on Social Security, disability. You have other folks of limited means. So the question is, how do you get them their relief? Because it's also not just Social Security, but because some folks pay income taxes, or not income taxes, but they pay sales taxes at the grocery store. And so the question is, how do you get relief to those like 900-something odd thousand folks? And so that's where sort of the debate discussion is right now, because
now you kind of reported Holcomb was like, sorry about you.
Well, what the governor said was that it was too difficult in the short session to figure out how to get that money to those folks who don't pay income taxes.
Now, this is what I don't understand, Abdul, because I know the talking point, which is, well, people who don't live in our state pay this gas tax. This would have been so simple and such a win politically and so easy for people to get their arms around, and it would have been instantaneous, whether it's suspending the gas tax and the sales tax on gas, just the gas tax, just the sales tax on gas. They had a million different ways they could have walked, again, right through the front door, and this would have been super easy, and they could have been done like that, and then it'd take it.
If I was going to cut the gas tax, I wouldn't touch the gas tax, because gas tax goes to roads. But
it does not have to go to roads. Stop with that. Stop.
I would touch the sales tax on gasoline, because that goes into the general revenue fund. And so that you can kind of play with a little bit more. With your gas tax, you have a dedicated fund of dollars for your roads, because remember, inflation is also hitting the construction and road industry too, because price of concrete and equipment and gasoline has also gone up as well. So if you're going to cut something temporarily, I would say the sales tax on gasoline would probably have been the better way to go. You could have done it relatively easy, relatively efficiently. The question is, would the price of gas have dropped? That's kind of point number one, because there's no guarantee that just because I cut the tax on gasoline.
Okay, so let me ask you this, because this is a talking point that drives me insane, as you usually do. You're right at the cusp of driving me insane. If the gas tax doesn't matter, why not make the gas tax $5 a gallon? If the gas tax does not affect the price of gas, why wouldn't we just, if all this revenue is just coming into the state and this excuse of, well, it wouldn't necessarily lower the price of gas, then why isn't the gas tax $5 a gallon? The gas tax is a part of the price of gas.
Well, the tax on gasoline is part of the price of gas, yes. But you got to remember, if I cut the tax on gasoline, where's the guarantee that the consumers are going to see the result?
But if the tax price of gas is not, if the gas tax is not part of the price of gas, then why not just make the gas tax $5 a gallon? Clearly, the companies are competing. It's a global entity, a global market. The guy across the street wants to sell the gas as bad as the guy across the street from him. They're not just going to arbitrarily get together and go, hey, Fred, let's leave it $4.62 a gallon. Let's really stick it to these people.
You'd be surprised.
Yeah, I just don't know. This was just such an easy win for them. And the fact that they refused to just walk through the front door and take the easy win tells me something weird is going on.
Not necessarily. But once again, like I said, the bigger issue, the bigger question is, what do you do for those folks who are of limited economic means but don't necessarily pay income taxes? How do you get them their relief? It's $1 million question.
And it does sound like, so that you were saying the Senate is maybe willing to hold this thing up over this?
That I know in the Senate, that's where the major concerns were, is how do you provide relief, senior citizens, folks on disability who need inflationary relief but don't necessarily pay income taxes.
We talked about this yesterday on State House Happenings. This has the makings for me to be a RIFRA-esque clown show all over again, and like RIFRA times 10 when you've got the abortion thing, and now they don't have a consensus on even the tax refund thing. And we're supposed to believe these wizards of smart are gonna get this all done in 21 days. This could be great for our business.
I have faith in my lawmaker friends.
Does it get tiresome carrying that water? Do you ever?
Well, every once in a while, I did have to get acupuncture on my cruise because I had some back problems.
Sure. All right, let's take a break. When we come back, speaking of what's going on behind the scenes, our old pal, former Indiana State Senator Jim Merritt will be with us. He was in a whole bunch of these. He was in a bunch of all these special sessions, these caucuses, these hot button topics. He'll join us to talk about it coming up next.
This is Ryan again, owner of Plumbing Heating Paramedics, your trained comfort specialist. Buying a new furnace or AC unit is a big decision. That's why we recommend getting 3 quotes. Just make sure we are one of them. We offer our PHP guarantee, which means if I can't beat a competitor's price by 10%, then I will give you $100. Dad always said, do quality work and serve every customer better than your competition. So let our family serve you. Visit saving10%.com and remember, it's hard to stop a train.
Oh, McDonald's sounds pretty good. Especially since a double cheeseburger and small fry is only $3. That might be the move. Wait, a 6-piece McNuggets and small fry is also just $3? Tempting. But then the Daily Double is just $3 too. Sheesh. I guess good things do come in threes. Except any size Coke. That's only $1. Prices and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any of the offer or combo meal.
It's time for the Crest Point Real Estate Market Minute.
It's Terry Stacy. With us is Patrick Keller, managing broker and owner of Crest Point Real Estate, Indy's real estate experts. Hello, Patrick.
Hello, everyone. Excited to give you a real estate market update here in the middle of summer 2022. I would say that right now I feel like the real estate market is pretty balanced. I started real estate in 2014, 2015, and it feels very much so like that market where some houses would sell very quickly and some houses would get multiple offers, but other homes would stay on the market for a while, sometimes 3, 4, 5, 6 months or even longer. And so what that tells me is we are now in a market where your house has to be pretty buttoned up if you're going to go to the market, and you want to make sure that it shows well and it's in good condition. And the days of just throwing your house on in as-is condition are starting to end.
Get your home value estimate in 60 seconds at patrickkeller.realtor.
Hey, it's Big Joe for Absolute Comfort, your trusted independent American Standard Air dealer, and owner Chris Swedick sells the Mitsubishi Electric Mini Split, a great option for heating and cooling where ductwork can't be installed.
If you have one of those homes that has baseboard heat or electric heat, ceiling cable heat, these can be specifically designed for those houses, because in those houses it's very difficult having to do all the construction and remodeling that goes with adding ductwork into those types of homes.
Find out more by going to AbsoluteComfort.org. Absolute Comfort is your trusted independent American Standard Air Mitsubishi Electric Elite Ductless Pro dealer.
During much of Indiana's history, communicating on the telephone with the deaf or hard of hearing was nearly impossible. Friends and loved ones couldn't stay in touch, so the hard of hearing became isolated. Today, those with hearing loss have equal access with the CapTel caption telephone from Relay Indiana and can keep their independence. Relay Indiana allows a caller to read what the other party is saying. This advanced technology keeps Hoosiers connected so that everyone can contribute to Indiana's productive future. Learn more at RelayIndiana.com.
Join Mark Patrick seminars and lose the weight guaranteed. Only $49.99. Hypnosis to destroy unwanted cravings. Also, stop smoking with Mark Patrick. Lose your desire to smoke without cravings, irritability, weight gain, or your money back. Seminars Thursday, July 28th at the Hampton Inn and Suites in Fishers. Weight loss seminar 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. Stop smoking seminar 8 to 10 p.m. And Saturday, July 30th at the La Quinta Inn and Suites South in Indianapolis. Weight loss seminar 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Stop smoking seminar 2 to 4 p.m. Registration begins 30 minutes before seminar. Treat yourself to unique live music this weekend. The 56th Indianapolis Early Music Festival entertains and enriches you with timeless, beautiful music from early eras. Visit iemusic.org for info and tickets.
Emmer and Nigel here, inviting you to join us as we kick off the weekend every Friday around 5:45 with Beer Sample Friday, brought to you by our friends at Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
A former leader shot dead. Rain showers on radar, 75 downtown. I'm Kurt Darling. Here's what's trending at 10:31. The shots that hit and killed former Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe this morning. He was speaking at a campaign event for his political party when he was shot by a man with a homemade gun. The shooter was caught.
Our thoughts, our prayers are with him, with his family, with the people of Japan. This is a very, very sad moment.
U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken. NASA is rebuking the Russian space program for using the International Space Station for war propaganda. This week, the Russian Space Agency posted photos of its 3 ISS cosmonauts posing with flags from 2 breakaway regions from eastern Ukraine and said that the capture of the region was a liberation day to celebrate both on Earth and in space. On Thursday, NASA said it strongly rebukes using the space station to support Russia's invasion of Ukraine. I'm Kurt Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
We'll say goodbye. It's Independence Day. It's Independence Day. All boys must run away.
Another week, we still have no idea what's going on with the Indiana General Assembly and abortion. 93 WIBC, it's Kendall and Casey Show. I'm Rob Abdul's in for Casey today. And look who it is, one of our all-time favorite people. He spent 30 years in the Indiana Senate. Former State Senator Jim Merritt. How are you?
Good morning, Robert.
You know, I told you as we were walking up the elevator, I saw walking up the, elevator, that's what it would be, right? I said, you look like one of those people who came out of the womb in a suit and tie. And I mean that as a compliment. Like, you always are dressed to the nines. Even when you're not in a suit and tie, you look like you went to some highly expensive, well-established tailoring place to get your garments.
Well, I get up in the morning and I'm ready for the day. And by the way, I'm touring Recycle Force today with Senator Braun.
Oh, excellent. Maybe you'd like to make a sizable donation to something I'm doing. If you could hit him up for that, that'd be fabulous. Because he has what we like to call infinite money. All right, so you were in the Indiana Senate for 30 years, and I want to touch on this report yesterday from the Indiana Capitol Chronicle that Rod Bray, who's the pro tem of the Senate, who was just one ahead of you, right? You were the number 2 guy.
Yes, sir.
Does that mean like if the pro tem took a vacation, you were in charge?
I assume so, but they never took vacations.
So he supposedly has this meeting for an hour with Holcomb, Indiana Capitol Chronicle reports, comes out of the meeting, refuses to take any questions, answer anything, acknowledge the media, was whisked away. That doesn't sound overly promising, right? What's going on in those meetings?
Well, if you look at the situation like during the pandemic, and the governor and the legislature, you know, they were not on the same team. At least if you look at the positive part of it, at least they're talking. Yeah. At least, you know, the governor comes out and calls a special session to talk about a tax cut, but he doesn't mention what the Roe v. Wade possibly being struck down. And so if you look at the positive end of it, Bray and Holcomb are talking so that they can be on the same page come July 25th.
Okay, so here is my question to you, and you are much nicer and cordial and friendly and get along with others much better than I do. But if I were Rod Bray, if I were the pro tem of the Senate, boy, I think what a great path the state would be on if I were running things over there. But I would say, okay, clown, You didn't care at all to include us in the conversation when you were putting 1 million people out of work, trying to put people in jail for not wearing a mask, closing thousands of businesses. Why do they even include him in? He can veto it if he doesn't like it, and they can override the veto, and we go on our merry way. Why are they treating him so much better than he treated them?
Well, if you look at it in a different way, they're waiting till the 25th to go into session, and whereas he wanted them to go into session on July 6th. So I would imagine my dad would call this putting bread on the water. He is going to see the governor to tell him what they're going to do in session, and include him. So extend the courtesy to him. And if I know Rod Bray, that is what he's doing. And Rod, I think if they do this right, they do it slowly and surely and with certainty. And I've got a little secret for you.
Oh, great.
A little secret this
breaking
morning.
news? Is this some sort of big breaking news?
Well, it's against the law against constitutional law for the state of Indiana to go in debt.
Oh, yes. I was aware of that.
Yes. And we have a $13 billion unfunded liability with all our pension plans, with police, fire, teachers.
Yes, you guys are giving the money out like it was going out of style.
Right.
Yes, you did a phenomenal job.
And with your wonderful audience, that is, if all 508,000 people retired at once, it'd be a $13 billion price tag.
Oh.
Being as conservative as you are,
yes.
Instead of talking about the gas tax all the time and shortening that, cutting that, I think we ought to take at least $1.3 billion and pay down that debt.
Well, I think that's what they did. Now, my issue with that is we had a very clear understanding of how things were supposed to work, and we had that understanding for over a decade with Mitch Daniels, and then just magically, they didn't just come out and say the surplus is $1.8 billion. Let's make up the idea of $2.5 to $5 billion. At 5 years ago. They just magically did it when the surplus was $5 billion. Now, don't you try to change the subject here today. We're going to talk about abortion. We can get to the clown spending by your former colleagues later.
I want to entertain your audience with boring things.
Okay, so you have been a part of big legislation. You've been there when big things were discussed, from property tax caps or whatever. Mm-hmm. If you're super proud of what you're doing, you're sprinting out of that meeting, you're waving your arms, you're saying, where's the nearest microphone? Here's what we're doing. Should people be alarmed that he is, I think it was described, he was ushered away very quickly without talking to anyone about what they're doing? I mean, we're a week and a half away. They're going to have to eventually tell someone.
Well, one of the sayings that I go about is leaders, you've got to get in front of your caucus or in front of your people to make it look like a parade rather than a posse.
I like that. I'm going to steal that.
And so I would imagine that Senator Bray and probably Speaker Houston want a majority, if not all their members, to follow them, and for their members to hear over the radio with you or anywhere else, and Nikki Kelly with her new newsletter, what was said there. I think Senator Bray is going to go back to his caucus and talk to him about what he spoke about with the governor, so they're the first to know.
It's Kendall and Casey Show. Our guest, former Indiana State Senator Jim Merritt. We're talking about what is going on, what in the world is going on with the Indiana General Assembly and abortion. Okay, so there were all these protesters out, and Abdul and I talked about this at length on State House Happenings. We talked about it today. All these abortion people out there in front of the State House on Wednesday. They're coming back. They're going to grow in numbers. Did that ever sway you? A bunch of people holding, on either side, holding signs, chanting in front of the State House. Did that ever move you in any direction?
No. In fact, back in 1995, we had 25,000 workers just circle the State House and come in and go up the stairs and down, and we still pass meaningful legislation, right to work legislation. You've got to stick with your principles and your stands, and I think the legislature will do that this year.
I want to ask you, and we've gone around and around for years on this, on the former Capitol Happenings, now State House Happenings. You here as a guest. Allegedly, the House did something the other day where they all got together in a room. I picture it being a smoke-filled room with still the old style cigarette machines, and everyone's smoking.
You think
a
they're
cigar.
vaping this time?
The House Republicans all got together in a room. It was allegedly off State House grounds. And you guys, well, you used to be you guys, were allowed to do this. It's called a caucus. And you go in there and you decide what you're going to do. And this enrages me for 93 reasons. First and foremost, why aren't we having this discussion in public? You guys have campaigned on this for 30 years. Why you got to do it behind closed doors? And why are you doing off side of the State House where you don't want anybody to know where you're at?
Well, first of all, this is not the first nor last time that the Indiana General Assembly, and in this case, the House of Representatives Republican Caucus, has met off campus, off state property.
Why would you do that unless you don't want people to know where you're meeting?
Well,
what's the reasoning?
Well, if it's in the Ways and Means meeting at meeting room at the State House, or at a golf course lunchroom, it doesn't really make any difference. The Constitution allows the caucuses to meet privately and without public notice, and it goes back to the same thing. They are organizing themselves so they present a front, so they're organized, and the idea of if they go over 2 weeks, let's just say, and have to have another special session, you and the rest of the media should conk them on the head and blame them for wasting public money on a special session. So they're trying to get themselves organized.
What's it like in there? You were the caucus chair on the Senate side. What do you have, a whip where you smack people if they get out of line? What's it like in those meetings?
There were times I wish I had one. Everybody gets their say. And probably a couple times, and it's a place that people can speak their mind and allow everybody to come together on informing each other of their opinion and come together on a topic or on a position that everybody can support, or at least I always thought that 26 is the majority out of 50, but I always wanted 27 to 30 votes on a piece of legislation.
Now, I know we talked about this before, but I had to make a choice in 2015, 2016. Did I want to stay in politics? Did I want to go back to media? And had I stayed in politics, I would have been an Indiana state senator. You and I could have been in a caucus room together. Think about how much fun we have here together. I don't think it would have been as much fun in a caucus room, Merritt.
Well, you and I would have. There are times I called my office the woodshed. So, anyway.
Real quick, before we let you go, Abdul has reported there's some issues on the tax refund. The Senate is trying to include more people. Some people are saying it's not big enough. Do you think this will ultimately get settled? And by settled, are we done with it? I mean, $225 sounds a little low when you're sitting on $1,500 of people's money, Merritt. What do you think?
Yeah, $225 does seem low. I go back to the idea of paying the conservative way and paying off debt, but I know that doesn't have the sex appeal about it. But I think you're going to see the House and the Senate come together on something that everybody can agree on, or at least 27 members in the Senate can, and over 53 members of the House of Representatives, and they'll get it done in a timely manner in August. And let's just be glad they didn't start on July 6th and just flounder.
He is a national treasure. He should be an ambassador somewhere. He's always the nicest dressed man in any room he walks into. Our good friend, the one and only former Indiana State Senator Jim Merritt. Thank you, my friend.
Thank you.
93 WIBC. It's Kendall and Casey Show.
If you want to win at any game or competition, whether it's in sports, your career, your finances, you have to have a solid game plan. Retirement works the exact same way. If you want a winning retirement strategy, you need a great coach, a manager, an expert.
And that's where Brian Singer and the Singer Financial Group come in. The Singer Financial Group puts together the pieces of a comprehensive retirement plan to make sure that your retirement years are the best years of your life. Every day you wake up winning. Singer Financial can help you make the next chapter of your life whatever you want it to be. Go to singerfinancialgroup.com or call 317-852-9153 to schedule a discovery visit. 317-852-9153. Find out how the Singer Financial Group can help you pursue the sweet life in retirement.
Investment advisory services offered through registered investment advisors Howard Bailey Securities, LLC, and AE Wealth Management, LLC. Working with Singer Financial cannot guarantee investment success or that specific financial goals will be achieved.
Real people are getting real and lasting pain relief at QC Kinetics.
Who would have thought that I would be in better shape now than after I got out of the Marines at 22?
It's great to be active again.
I've played 36 holes multiple days in a row without pain. Everything's great.
Are you tired of living with chronic joint pain? QC Kinetics uses cutting-edge regenerative medicine to restore and repair damaged tissue, natural healing agents from your own body, so your body can heal itself the way it was designed, with no pain pills, no steroids, no drugs, and no downtime.
It was super successful, and I recommend everyone seek out QC Kinetics as an alternative to surgery.
Thanks to QC Kinetics, quality of life is just a lot better.
Definitely changed my life.
Call now to see if regenerative medicine could be the answer you've been looking for. The local medical professionals at QC Kinetics have proven protocols that can give you lasting relief now, and the consultation is free.
Call QC Kinetics, 463-235-7160. That's 463-235-7160. In Eagle Creek and Greenwood, 463-235-7160.
Here's Terry Stacy to tell you what's going on with WIBC.
Hit the links with the Dan Dockich Annual Tom Dockich Memorial Golf Outing presented by Franciscan Health on July 18th. Gather your foursome and register your team today. Proceeds benefit the Franciscan Health's Moving Beyond Cancer Survivorship Program. Remember to follow WIBC on social media. Find us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Like and follow WIBC to stay up to date on news, traffic, and weather.
Grab more info online at WIBC.com.
A new study says owning a pet makes you more happy. 93 WIBC. It's Kendall and Casey Show. I'm Rob. Kevin's here. Casey's out today. She'll be back Monday. Abdul in for Casey. Before we get to this new study on pet ownership, don't forget you can watch the program. We're available 3 different ways now via video on YouTube. Just put Kendall and Casey WIBC into your search bar. Head over to the Facebook page, WIBC Facebook page, or head over to the WIBC Twitter feed. All have live links available. Okay, Abdul, you're a pet owner.
Yes.
You have a little dog.
Yappy dog that won't shut up.
What kind of dog is it?
Yorkie Terrier.
That dog. So I have, what do they call it? Pet sat
yeah.
For Abdul before I ventured over to Abdul's palatial estate and watched his dog on more than one occasion. This dog, I don't know, you could put it in your hand. It's some sort of tiny something or other. It makes more noise than just about any dog I've ever encountered. And I would let the dog out into the backyard, and I didn't even need a light at night to focus on it because you could hear it wherever it was, grunting and groaning and snorting all throughout. And it is amazing that a dog that small can make that much noise.
That dog actually snores, too.
Oh, I can only imagine. And you though, have a love-hate relationship with this dog.
I love to hate my dog.
Yes, and but you seem happy at the core of your existence that you have this dog in your life.
For the most part, yes. I jokingly say it's my wife's dog.
Yes,
and my wife loves the dog and she tolerates me.
Yeah,
even though I feed the dog on a regular basis.
Now, did you get the dog before? Did your wife have the dog before she married you?
My wife had a Yorkie before she met me. He was like 15, 16 years old. So he was kind of on his last leg. And I want to say a year after we got married, the dog finally passed away. Mm-hmm. So never forget that day because I was actually doing morning radio at the old building on the north side of town. Mm-hmm. Wife calls me at 8:30 on a Friday morning. Like, you're not supposed to call me during the radio show. Mm-hmm. Call me afterwards. She's like, JJ died. Like, the dog, like, oh, thanks. No, my wife was upset. Her dog just passed away. Like, hey, dear, just put the blanket on the dog. Well, I'll be home in half an hour. We'll take care of it. So we end up going to the pet store, and our dog was the last Yorkie in the litter. So he has some separation anxiety issues.
And your dog is I have an English bulldog, Bruce, who is about 10 times the size of your dog. But your dog has a unique gift that thankfully I don't think Bruce ever quite figured out, which is your dog knows that if it goes out and does its business and then comes back in, it gets a treat.
Yes.
And as such, your dog will pretend, and I have seen this, and I saw you posting about this recently, will pretend as though it has to go out. Then it will disappear. So you have no idea what it's done while it's out there, yet it comes back demanding a treat.
Yes. And for some strange reason, I was home earlier this week. The dog kept barking and barking and barking. I kept letting him out. I'm like, okay, what the hell's going on here? So I decided to go follow him. Like, this dog didn't do a damn thing. I'm being played like a Stradivarius. No, you're not getting a treat. Get out of here.
The new poll, Study Finds, has the story, which says that pet ownership globally increases happiness by more than 22%. And in the United States, they said that the happiness was increased in the United States by 87.3% over the average person. So I will say one of the great joys in life is having a dog, especially an English bulldog. And I could not fathom having a dog that was not an English bulldog going forward, because that's really, since I was a kid, all I've ever had.
Well, all I know is when this dog passes away, which probably in about 4 or 5 years and some change.
Not that you're counting?
No, I'm not counting at all. Just logic dictates, because the dog's like 12 years old now. I told my wife we'll get 2 dogs. We'll get some little Shih Tzu thing for her, whatever those damn things are. But I told her I want a beagle. I want a beagle. I'm going to name him Darwin.
Is there any reason you chose the beagle?
I wanted a beagle, and I want to name him Darwin.
But what about the beagle is appealing to you? There's something, right?
It's just a beagle. It's a cute dog, and I want to name him Darwin.
Okay. All right. There you go.
Because Darwin was on the SS Beagle when he went to the Galapagos Islands back in the 1800s.
Sure. There always has to be some underlying theme with everything. It's Kendall.
You got to name him Clark Kent or Kal-El or Crypto.
Kendall and Casey Show, 93 WIBC. I'm Rob Abdul's in for Casey today. You have tattoos?
Yes.
What do you have? Superman something.
Superman right here.
Yeah.
Of course, I jokingly say black people getting tattoos is kind of like skywriting at night. So it is what it is.
And what else do you have?
My law school fraternity, Alpha Sigma Nu.
And why did you decide on both of those tattoos? What went into your... Because I am not a person who has had a tattoo, nor will I ever have a tattoo, but there was something that went into you getting those tattoos.
When I was in Seattle back in 2000...
Yeah.
In Tacoma, Washington, visiting family friends, went by a tattoo place. Like, you know what? I want a tattoo, and I want to get my tattoo in Seattle for some strange reason.
Okay, you've done a lot of things in Seattle.
Yes, quite a few things in Seattle. And what I wanted to do was I wanted a tattoo that, number one, you couldn't see it unless I showed it to you. Number two, if I showed it to you, you recognize what it was.
Yeah.
And number three, would not be somebody's name.
Yeah.
Because I'll get my girlfriend's name when you break up, and then you got a problem.
Right.
So I got Superman over here, and then when I graduated from law school, I got inducted to the Alpha Sigma Nu Jesuit Honor Society. Like, you know what? I want my law school fraternity. So this way, they're covered up, so nobody can say unless I show them to them. And if you want to know what it is, I can explain it to you, and it's no big deal.
Oh, okay. Those are all interesting and seem very reasonable. Now, Aaron Rodgers, who is quarterback for the Green Bay Packers, has got a tattoo, and it is none of those things. It is some big astrology something. I don't even know what to make of it. There's lions on it. There's the eye that's on the dollar bill is on it. It looks like a compass of some sort. It is some big monstrosity. And it is believed that he did it because his girlfriend, who goes by the name of Blue of Earth, and they have tattoos that go together. Like his tattoo astrology somehow coordinates with her tattoo astrology. And she is described, I believe, here as an Instagram medicine woman. The story, by the way, from Outkick the Coverage. I'll read this to you. This is how they describe this guy's girlfriend. Now, would you get anything permanent that has to do with the description I'm about to read to you? Aaron Rodgers and the Instagram medicine woman who in June denied that she was a witch. Is that anything you would do anything permanent for? An Instagram medicine woman who denied just a month ago she was a witch.
I'm looking over Instagram medicine woman. How exactly does that work?
I don't know, Abdul. This is my point. And this tattoo is large that he got. It appears to be on his forearm, so you're not going to be able to hide it. And is it going to work out with someone who is referenced as an Instagram medicine woman who recently had to deny she was a witch?
Because tattoo removal, that's a pain.
Well, so this is my question to you. Is there any, if your wife wanted you to get a tattoo, would you do it? Would you get something if it meant something to your wife?
It depends on what it is and where she wanted me to put it.
Yeah. I'm going to send you a picture of this tattoo that he got because it is gargantuan. And I'm with you in terms of I would not get a tattoo. I don't have any problem with people who do get tattoos. But if you're going to put it somewhere where everyone can see it, now forever, you're linked to this woman, and it's not like it's his wife, and you don't exactly have the best, Aaron Rodgers doesn't exactly have the best track record on relationships. Kevin, we got about 20 seconds left. You don't have any tattoos, do you?
No, but I'm thinking about getting a tattoo of the word tattoo on my forehead. Because I think people could appreciate that.
Is there anything any woman could do to get you to get a tattoo? Is there anything?
I don't think you can say it on the radio.
Yeah, maybe not. I can't speak on that.
It is the Kendall and Casey show. I'm Rob. Abdul's here. Kevin's here. When we come back, what do we got to get into? We got so much to get to, including the Kentucky governor confirms Joe Biden was about to nominate an anti-abortion judge to the federal bench. Unbelievable, the story. We'll talk about it coming up next.
It's Big Joe for your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer, Kirby Heating and Air Conditioning. The Kirbys have been in business for nearly 4 decades, and son Robert says his parents' business practices won't ever change.
I love the way that they've ran the business, treat the customer right. Word of mouth is our biggest advertisement, so you treat people right, and they're going to recommend you 10 times more, so it's been great.
Call Jessica, Lloyd, Robert, and Adam at Kirby Heating and Air Conditioning at 317-892-3614. Kirby is your trusted local independent American Standard dealer.
You've undoubtedly heard of the calm before the storm. Well, Michaelis is the calm after the storm. More than 3 decades of restoring damage from wind, rain, and hail. They've got your back, not to mention your front, side, and roof. It's why home and business owners beat a path to Michaelis' door, because it's always answered around the clock with welcome arms. Your port in the storm. From site security and tarping services to complete restoration work, they can handle anything Mother Nature throws your way. Seasoned and trustworthy pros who are never deterred by a little wind and rain, or a motherload of it for that matter. Water, storms, fire, and foundations. Life happens. Michaelis happens to help you through it. Call 844-FIX-INDY. Make it Michaelis.
You've been talking about the ring. Awesome. So what's next? Come see us at Shane Company and we'll figure it out together. If you know what engagement ring style you want, you're ahead of the game. And if you don't have a clue, no worries. We have tons of new styles and designs in every price range. Same with the center stone. We've got a massive selection of diamonds, all shapes, sizes, and prices. Or maybe you want something colorful like a ruby or a sapphire. We have those too. Hand-selected for their beauty and brilliance by Tom Shane himself. We want this to be fun and easy for you guys. Our jewelry consultants don't work on commission, so it's a different kind of vibe here. No one's going to push you to make a decision. You already made one of the biggest decisions of your life. And one more thing. Shane Company offers a free lifetime warranty that even covers the center stone. When it comes to having your jewelry taken care of, you're set for life. By the way, congratulations.
Now you have a friend in the jewelry business. Shane Company and ShaneCo.com.
At 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning, our comfort specialist can handle any AC repair. Call 855-1HOUR for $50 off your repair or visit onehourair.com.
Always on time or you don't pay time.
Terms and conditions may apply. Independently owned and operated, licensed in their respective state or county.
Go where the pros go. Drexel Interiors for Timberlake kitchen and bath cabinets. Visit Drexel's new design center on 146th Street at River Road or on North Shadeland. DrexelIN.com.
Coming up in 2 minutes, farmers are happy campers today as lots of rain is moving through Indiana, and 2 southern Indiana families are suing a funeral home in Jeffersonville. That and more coming up from the Shepherd Community Center studios after Fox News. You're listening to 93 WIBC, WIBC HD1 Indianapolis.
It's been 2 weeks since the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. And after some states now allowed to ban abortions President Biden will this hour detail new executive actions
intended to prevent women from facing legal challenges for traveling across state lines to seek abortions. One order directs agencies to educate medical providers and insurers about federal patient privacy laws. Another is intended to expand access to federally approved abortion medication.
Fox's Jared Halpern, the president, put out a statement earlier saying all the jobs lost during the COVID pandemic have been recovered and then some. A better than expected 372,000 jobs were created last month. The unemployment rate held steady at 3.6%. Labor Secretary Marty Walsh tells Fox Business they have more work to do lowering inflation.
We still are living within a pandemic time, and we still have what's going on, this situation in Ukraine with Putin's war in Ukraine.
Now, Russian leader Vladimir Putin warned today continued sanctions on him will lead to catastrophic global market consequences. They're mourning a murder in Japan. Former Prime Minister Shinzo Abe was shot from behind by a gunman who was...
The gunman is in custody on charges of suspicion of attempted murder. The 41-year-old Tetsuya Yamagami was tackled moments after the shooting next to what appears to be a double-barreled handmade gun. The current Prime Minister of Japan, Fumio Kishida, tearfully condemned what he called a barbaric attack.
That's Fox's Alex Hogan. Former White House counsel Pat Cipollone is at the Capitol, talking privately this morning to the House Democrat-led committee investigating the Capitol riot. He was with former President Trump that day.
The committee has said its next public hearing will be July 12th. Committee Vice Chair, Wyoming Republican Congresswoman Liz Cheney, said Sunday the committee may make a criminal referral to the Justice Department against former President Trump.
That's Fox's Jessica Rosenthal. The former president has called the investigation a hoax. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
A huge help for farmers. Some showers on radar, 75 downtown. I'm Kurt Darling. Here's what's trending at 11:02. Farmers have been hoping for rain the last few weeks, and they've been getting it this week.
Unfortunately, it's not enough rain to really to end the drought, but it's definitely much needed with how far behind we were. And it does look like today, most areas are going to get a good soak of rain, which will again help to kind of green the grass and help the farmers with their crops.
Andrew White with the National Weather Service. A good chance for severe storms this afternoon, though, mainly to the south of I-70. Libertarians in Indiana choose their candidates by private convention rather than by holding primaries. That's because they can't under current state law. But if they continue to grow, then they may soon be required to hold primaries. Evan McMahon, party chairman, tells Indy Politics that they plan to sue to keep holding private conventions.
We've often talked about political parties not using taxpayer money to endorse their candidates and select their candidates. So it's a fight that I hope we get to have come December.
A lawsuit filed against a funeral home in Jeffersonville where 31 decomposing bodies were found last week. One family believes that their daughter's remains are among the bodies found and that the funeral home owner had told them originally her body had been cremated when it hadn't, and that he told them that he didn't have an urn to return her remains to them. The families want a jury trial for the civil case. Prosecutors are still figuring out if the incident warrants criminal charges. How is inflation affecting your life?
It's hurt me. It's hurt me bad.
To go anywhere, to eat anything, to get gas, everything's just more expensive.
Plans have changed with traveling, with shopping.
The Indiana Pacers are tipping off their Summer League schedule against the Charlotte Hornets tonight. Indiana fans will get their first glimpse of their first overall pick, Benedict Mathurin, who will play in a Pacers uniform for the first time tonight. I'm Kurt Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Yeah, Mark Diedel's the only real estate agent I'd trust to sell my house. Take Chris from Noblesville, for example. They were ready to upgrade to a newly built home, so they hired Mark Diedel and asked him to max out their current home price so they could afford the new home. Mark gave him a plan to get the most money possible, and he pushed the price hard to get us $15,000 over an already high asking price. That gave Chris and his family plenty of time to get into their new home, thanks to Mark Diedel.
call the only agent that we recommend on the Hammer and Nigel show, Mark Deedle. Mark Deedle guarantees multiple offers in 3 days for full market value, or he will list it for free. That is the Mark Deedle guarantee. Call Mark Deedle today, 317-755-4232. That's 755-4232. Or go online to markdeedle.com. That's Mark, Dietel, markdeedle.com.
This hour on 93 WIBC is powered by this weekend's Indianapolis Early Music Festival. Visit iemusic.org for tickets today.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
The Republican Party in Indiana sees zero problem in record spending, in record taxation.
And Casey Daniels.
You went out there and said, please vote for me. You debated other people on why you're the better person for the position. Suck it up.
This is the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
So how do these political spokespeople lie with a straight face? We're going to get the answer from some guy who's got a lot of experience.
Not lying.
I know, right? It's George Costanza. It's not a lie if you believe it to be true.
It's not a lie, my friend, if you believe it.
93 WIBC, it's Kendall and Casey Show. I'm Rob. Kevin's here. Casey's out today. She'll be back Monday. Abdul in for Casey. Don't forget, you can now view the radio program on the YouTube feed. Just go to YouTube, type in Kendall and Casey, WIBC. Also, WIBC Facebook page or the WIBC Twitter stream. So I'm going to play you a clip from Corinne Jean-Pierre. And she does this very well. Psaki did this very well. To be able to lie to the American people with a straight face, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, is an art form. And you've got a little experience in this role as a press secretary. You once did this for a pretty high-profile politician. So I want to go behind the scenes on this. But first, here's the latest. I can't believe this person can get these words out of her mouth. Take a listen.
We look at where we are economically, and we are we are stronger economically than we have been in history. When you look at the unemployment numbers at 3.6%, when you look at the jobs numbers, more than 8.7 million of new jobs created. That is important.
Okay, we talked about this earlier. If you shut down society, whether you were for that, against that, that's not the crux or point of the conversation. But if you shut the society down by force, and then you say, oh, society can reopen again, that's not a job created. That's, we no longer forced you to keep your business closed. You can reopen now. You're not creating a job. Yet this is the only leg the Biden administration has to stand on is, look at how many jobs were created during the Biden administration. So, Abdul, you once worked as a press secretary.
Yes.
For the Attorney General of Illinois.
Yes. From 1995 to 2003.
And Tony Katz always says he'd love to be the press secretary. I can't think of a worse job because you're peddling other people's bull crap. How did you do this on a daily basis?
Well, first of all, it helped that I had a media background before becoming a press secretary. Right. So sort of been on both sides of the fence, so to speak. We were always taught, don't lie. If you don't know, just say you don't know.
Right.
But don't lie, but don't necessarily volunteer everything. In other words, answer the question that's asked. And that was sort of my philosophy is like, hey, Abdul, what's going on, blah, blah, blah. Like, well, I don't know. Let me see what I can find out. And obviously, we're dealing with legal stuff, so right. some things you can't talk about because of clients and strategy and the whole 9 yards. However, I'll never forget this. When my dad met my wife for the first time, we were still dating. And he kind of told her, well, let me tell you about my son. He's a good guy. He'll treat you well, but he will only answer the question that you ask. So if you're going to ask him a question, you better make sure it's very narrowly tailored, defined.
You're an attorney.
Yeah, to solicit a certain type of answer. Because my dad was like talking to my son, Abdul. Like I said, he's a good guy, but it's like doing a Bill Clinton deposition.
Right.
So the lawyer thing, the media thing, and the spokesperson thing, my thing has always been you don't lie, but you answer the question that's asked. And if someone doesn't, and if you don't know, just say, you know what, we don't know. We'll get back to you on that.
This is an educated woman, though. There's no way that she actually believes that they created all these jobs. There's no way she believes that. And yet, she might as well have told you where the peanut butter was located in her kitchen. Like, it's just no problem.
Well, see, but all administrations do that. We created X millions of jobs. Like, well, the government doesn't really create jobs. The government creates an environment jobs can prosper. So I'm willing to forgive that. But as far as like just straight up lying and say, no, that didn't happen, like, oh, no, you don't do that. Because at the end of the day, as a spokesperson, all you have is your reputation. And once you lose your reputation for being honest and straightforward with people, that's it. Same thing being a media person. All you got is your reputation. And once you break your word, good luck getting it back. It's going to take you a long time to do it.
I think that's part of why we do so well here is there's lots of people who disagree with my views on things. But everybody knows between 9 and noon each day, you're getting Rob Kendall's honest assessment of what's going on. Even if it loses people who claim to be my friends, even if it, angers people, you're going to get a frank and flame-throwing version of what's going on. And I think you hit on a good point, though. That's part of the bond of the audience with the talk shows, the same way as there's kind of a bond between the media and the spokesperson. You got to be honest with them. And when you don't, it really runs afoul of the people asking the questions.
My thing is people appreciate honesty and
authenticity.
Yeah, that word.
Yeah.
that I can't say for some strange reason. People appreciate that because when you try to be something that you're not, it doesn't work. It's like these elected officials, like, I'm going to be the next Donald Trump. No, you're not. I'm going to be the next Barack Obama. No, you're not. Donald Trump and Barack Obama are such unique personalities that they're their own creatures. So
you got to be comfortable in your own skin to be a Trump or an Obama. And that's why when a guy like Todd Rokita tried to do that when he ran for U.S. Senate, he became a totally different person than he'd been as a U.S. rep or certainly a Secretary of State, in which he was, and we say this all the time, like the Rokita change to me was so disheartening because likability was never going to be Todd Rokita's strong point, but he was really good as Secretary of State and pretty good as a congressman, and government accountability was something he could run on. But when you try to be some bizarro, watered-down, wannabe version of Donald Trump, you just come off as inauthentic.
Exactly. You come across inauthentic and fake, and people can spot a fake a mile away.
It's Kendall and Casey Show. I'm Rob. Abdul in for Casey today. So you had the great misfortune of having to have a conversation with Kyle Hupfer a few hours ago, the chairman of the Indiana Republican Party.
I don't think it was a misfortune.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's my opinion. Yes. I'm still allowed to give that, right? It's half my show.
Yes. This weekend, I'm actually sitting down and talking to all three state chairmen. I spoke to Evan McMahon, the Libertarian Party chairman, on Tuesday. Spoke to Kyle Hupfer this morning. We'll be speaking to Mike Schmuel once we get off the air at noon today. Just sort of about Indiana's political climate, the special session, abortion, tax cuts. What is happening in the 2022 midterm elections?
Now, his job is to be, and the job of the party chairman, period. I am picking on Hupfer, but I'm not picking on him for this reason, is he is spin master in chief, right? Like it is Kevin Bacon in Animal House, all is well, no matter what's going on. But there's clearly division in the Republican Party, as the state convention revealed based on the Holcomb/establishment candidates losing. What was his, can you give us a little preview? What was his explanation? Or did he just say, that's no big deal?
Oh, no. His explanation was a couple things. Number one, he said Diego did work hard, which he did. Going all over the state, visiting all 92 counties 2, 3, 4 times. He also said that this go around, you had more ideologically conservative people applying to run for delegate, unlike times past. Now, what their motivation was it COVID, shutdowns? It's what people have their own reasons for running, and so because of that, you had a lot more ideologically conservative people who had some issues with the governor, and that's pretty much how he explained it. It's almost sort of like when Greg Zeller ran for Attorney General back in 2008 against John Costas. People were mad at Mitch Daniels because Mitch was calling for government consolidation, had a lot of local government people, and so they kind of pushed back, and because Mitch wanted John Costas, they took Greg Zeller. So what happened at the state convention was not uncommon.
It is interesting, though, because Holcomb and Hupfer are joined at the hip. right? Like they are best buddies. He was, wasn't he the treasurer for the first Holcomb election campaign? I mean, they're joined at the hip, so it's got to be an uncomfortable position for him because whether you agree with it or not, I was there working for you. Those people who are voting for Diego, it wasn't because he's the most competent member of government, that's for sure. It was because we are really angry at Holcomb. There's got to be some acknowledgement of that, right? Like, your guy is the reason this guy is the nominee.
Well, he acknowledged there was some of that. He did. He's like, but he said that wasn't the sole reason. It was multiple reasons. That was one of them.
What, Diego's general charm and charisma and great history in the Secretary of State's office? I mean, come on. These guys can never give it up, even when it's right in front of them.
Well, Diego's got some issues. I'll put it that way.
Yeah, all right.
There are more issues on the way, unfortunately.
Go on. Hello?
Can't go into it right now. But
did I hear something?
Hello? There's more issues on the way.
Okay. All right. So people will hear that tomorrow, 1 to 3?
Tomorrow, 1 to 3, yeah.
All right. We'll take a break. 93 WIBC, Abdul in for Casey. It's the Kendall and Casey Show.
Today I'm calling for a federal gas tax holiday.
Democrats
not going to provide significant savings at the pump.
Republicans.
Another gimmick, another Band-Aid.
So-called gas tax holiday.
Even Barack Obama called it a gimmick.
That is such an obvious gimmick. This is a plan that would save you pennies a day for the summer months.
Check in often.
All of us, Democrats, Republicans, Independents.
And hear the stories that affect all of us.
The American people.
This is 93 WIBC.
What you've heard about probiotics is probably wrong.
I eat yogurt, so I don't need to take a probiotic.
Probiotics? They don't really work.
It's time to learn the truth about probiotics and join the Align Healthy Gut Team Up. Align has probiotics to naturally help relieve occasional bloating, gas, and abdominal discomfort. Try Align probiotics for a month and see how great a healthy gut can feel. Get $2 off your first month of Align at alignprobiotics.com.
Every search you make, every click you take, they'll be watching you.
Are you tired of being tracked online? There's a simple solution. DuckDuckGo. It's an all-in-one privacy app with a built-in private search engine, web browser, one-click data clearing, email protection, and more, all for free. Download the app today and get the most comprehensive privacy protection with the push of a button. DuckDuckGo. Privacy simplified.
Go where the pros go. Drexel Interiors for Timberlake kitchen and bath cabinets. Visit Drexel's new design center on 146th Street at River Road or on North Shadeland. DrexelIN.com.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
He's a criminal, that's who he is. A vigilante, a public menace.
And Casey Daniels.
Wow, she's an angel.
On 93 WIBC.
Oh, yeah. Good job, Kevin. Well done.
Can I ask you for a favor?
It's like the first time I went into Abdul's office. 93 WIBC, it's Kendall and Casey Show. I'm Rob. Kevin's here. Abdul in for Casey. She'll be back Monday. Don't forget, you can view the program. Hello! You can view the program 3 different ways on the YouTube feed. Just type in Kendall and Casey, WIBC. Head over to the WIBC Facebook page or the WIBC Twitter feed. You can view the program now in addition to listening to us. So, yes, obviously, news came down yesterday. James Caan, very famous actor, probably most known for his role as Sonny Corleone in The Godfather. Although, here's what's interesting. And I get that whatever happened most recent is often where, because the people who are working for these publications, whatever, so many people mentioned his role in Elf as the prominent, he's the angry dad, whatever, in Elf. It's like, really? I mean, I would think it would go in this order. It would go The Godfather, Brian's Song, and then
Rollerball.
I mean, look, that's a very prominent thing he had, even though it was not anywhere near on the importance of Godfather or Brian's Song. But obviously an incredibly important actor because he starred in some incredibly famous movies and was an integral part of what is oftentimes considered the greatest movie ever made, The Godfather. Now, here's my question for you, Abdul. James Caan passing away yesterday at the age of 82. You still go to the movies quite a bit. You're a movie guy. You
Yes.
and you even got your movie buddy. What's his name?
Matt Sosi.
Yes, Matt Sosi, who's on your show all the time. You still go on the regular to the movies.
Yeah.
And you have famously or do famously, will buy seats around you to leave them unoccupied so you can't be bothered.
If it is a movie that I really, really want to see and really, really want to be sort of left alone, I will reserve the seats adjacent to me and the 3 seats in front of me and the 3 seats in back of me.
So you will essentially pay
to be left alone.
And we're not talking like he paid $5. I mean, you're talking about 7 to 9 seats.
Yes.
You will pay the money.
If it's a movie I really, really want to see and really, really want to be left alone.
Yeah, and we're not talking about like Abdul's running some sort of charity where children get to go with him and enjoy the movie.
No, it's not a charity. This is for me.
You will literally pay upwards of what could be $50 to $90 just to be an elitist and not have to sit next to anyone.
Well, not have anyone sit next to me.
Right. Yes, I understand. Point is, you go to the movies. I didn't believe you the first time you told me, no, I really do that. No, I really paid for people not to sit around me. It's just with you, it's
not surprising.
No. I was going to say it's unbelievable. With you, it's totally believable that you would do that. Do they make, because you go to movies all the time, are today's movies on par? And I'm not talking about, obviously, I understand special effects, the things they can do in movies now are far beyond what they could do 50 years ago. But are today's movies, do they hold up to the movies that they made 50 years ago?
I think a good story is a good story regardless of when the movie is made or done. And are the themes, and even if it's a period piece like a Gone with the Wind.
Right.
It does it have a universal theme that transcends, sort of time and space, so to speak. Like one of my favorite movies will always be Gone with the Wind. As God is my witness, I'll never go hungry again.
Now, wait. Time out. They're canceling Gone with the Wind left and right because they told me you as a black man were highly offended because there's racial overtones in Gone with the Wind.
Well, whatever.
Are you telling me that that's not correct?
Of course.
Are you telling me you're not offended by Gone with the Wind?
Why would I be offended at history?
I don't know. I'm just going by what I was told, that they're putting the disclaimers on the front of the viewing of the movie that is very insensitive, and I'm a bad person for even watching this movie. You're telling me that's incorrect.
That's why I'm glad I bought the movie on DVD a long time ago.
Well, then I'm just going to tell them Abdul says I don't have to feel that way.
It's like, because my thing is like, whether it's Gone with the Wind, Citizen Kane, There Will Be Blood. They're kind of sort of period type pieces, but at the end of the day, they're really good stories. And to me, I think the really good story will make up for a lot of things. Now, granted, for every good story, there's like RoboCop 2,
right?
So which you just watch just for giggles.
Are the majority of movies you're going to see, and now take out the fact that you're a comic book nerd and that you're totally a homer on the comic book stuff, are the stories today as good as the stories were back then?
I say as far as the comic movies go, the stories are actually better because now you've got the technology to go along with the story.
Right.
For example, you weren't born yet. I was like only like 6-7 years old, but back in like the 1970s, there was like this really bad, cheesy Spider-Man action series on television. It was really bad. It was god-awful horrible. I mean, he'd shoot a spider web and it would like go like on a pole and like sort of wrap around and he'd swing, and it was just really bad and horrible because the technology just sucked.
Yeah.
Like Captain America, the television show. He rode around in a van and had a motorcycle in the back. And there was the Fantastic Four movie, which was god-awful horrible, which you couldn't find on videotape at all because the technology just wasn't there. It wasn't until Spider-Man, the first Spider-Man movie back in 2000, 2002, where Marvel like, hey, we finally have the technology to do a really good story. So in the superhero genre, the stories actually work because now they got the technology to go along with it. The problem is sometimes they rely too heavily on the technology and forget, hey, there's got to be a story in here somewhere.
Sure. And speaking of which, one of your all-time favorite movies is Blazing Saddles as well, which I was also told that I should feel terrible about watching.
Actually, Blazing Saddles, I have I teach mass media class at the University of Indianapolis, and the first assignment I have my students do is watch the movie Blazing Saddles.
Oh, yeah.
And their parents actually are like, your teacher wants you to watch what? Blazing Saddles. Like, awesome, I got to meet this guy. Because their parents are in the same age group.
Right. Well, this is the point though, right? Like what is the rationale behind people saying, putting these disclaimers, saying you should feel guilty, trying to ban these movies? I mean, you're sitting here as a black man saying, no, not only am I not offended by this, I love this. These are my favorite movies. They're hilarious. Who are they appealing to? I mean, where is the black community on, say, a Gone with the Wind or a Blazing Saddles? Are you just a unicorn? Are you just, Abdul, nobody else feels like Abdul?
Well, I think people all over the place. Either you like the movie or you don't, for whatever reason. Actually, one of my favorite films, this one's really going to probably get me in trouble, is a movie called Birth of a Nation by D.W. Griffith.
Wait, what?
Birth of a Nation.
Oh, no, I'm familiar with the film.
Yeah.
Is that that's a silent movie?
Yes, it is. It's a silent movie about the Ku Klux Klan. And it was D.W. Griffith that got a ton of awards back in...
I'd like to point out this is Abdul talking right now.
And actually, D.W., I want to say the movie studio actually got a letter from Woodrow Wilson saying, hey, this is a great...
He showed it in the White House.
Showed it in the White House. Now, am I crazy about the content? No, but from a technical perspective, it's an excellent film, seeing how what they had to do to make the movie during that time of the 1910s, 1920s. It was actually, from a technical perspective, it's really, really good. Now, the content, not crazy about it. It's like a Hitler speech. Great delivery, but horrible content. Because whether people forget, when you make a movie, there's certain universal things that had to be done. Lighting has to be done, sound has to be done, the whole 9 yards. So whether I agree with the content or not is a separate issue altogether. But if the movie's done well, it's done well.
So you're a person who can watch a movie, appreciate those things, and then still yet totally hate the content of the movie.
Yeah, it's love the sinner, hate the sin.
Oh, now you're turning over a new leaf.
Not really.
I thought your slogan was love the money more.
Well, yeah, that too. I love the sinner, I love the sinner who pays better. just like last night, I was watching Mississippi Burning because it was on Showtime. And it's a movie that I love forever. Am I crazy about the content? Not really, but Gene Hackman, William Dafoe, Frances McDermott, like these guys did a really, really good job. Plus, there's something to be said about Lex Luthor and the Green Goblin working together.
93 WIBC. It's Kendall and Casey show. Real quick, wanted to get to this. There's a new report out from MSN, or the Washington Post originally reported this, that once again, the Elon Musk Twitter bid is in serious jeopardy, is how they describe it, saying he is hung up on these bot accounts that are far greater than what Twitter had allegedly previously disclosed. Where are you at on this, Abdul? I'm exhausted with this. This was interesting for like a week. Either do it or don't. I think Twitter would be much better if Elon Musk is indeed the new owner of Twitter. But I am so sick of this like hanging on a thread and I'm going to, will it or won't it happen? Just do it or don't.
No try, just do.
Yeah. Because you use Twitter.
Yep. Use Twitter all the time. I mean, as far as like, quote unquote censorship goes, Twitter can do whatever it wants. It's a private company. I just move on to go do my thing.
Yeah, but you wouldn't want to buy something if you're not getting what you paid for.
No, but then again, I'm also not a billionaire yet.
Nor will you ever be.
Hey, you never know.
No, let's hope for society. All of us are hoping. You will never be.
It's like the old WKRP Cincinnati when Dr. Johnny Fever won the lottery. Like, oh my God.
Yeah. The only person I'd be more afraid if they became a billionaire would be Jason Hammer. And well, let's hope that doesn't happen either. 93 WIBC, it's Kendall and Casey show. When we come back, our old pal Donald Rainwater, he'll be with us. We'll talk about what's going on with the special session. We'll talk about where the Republican Party's going. We'll talk about all that and more coming up next.
Hi, I'm Ryan Kelly with thehomeloanexpert.com. The housing market has started to cool, but inventory is still low and homes are selling fast. We need to get you pre-approved today. The Home Loan Expert has lower rates, loan programs for almost everyone, and a 10-day closing guarantee. We can answer all your questions and make sure you're ready to close the deal when that perfect home hits the market. The 10-day closing guarantee, only available at thehomeloanexpert.com. The Home Loan Expert LLC, NMLS number 1326241.
If you thought Diamonds Direct's values were impressive, wait till you see what we're doing next. Diamonds Direct is celebrating your golden moments with a store-wide sale, July 15th through 17th, with an extra 20% savings on virtually all diamond fashion and designer jewelry, from rings and earrings to bands and bracelets and so much more. This is the perfect time to shop for yourself or the one you love during this 3-day event. Get ready, 20% extra savings on a multi-million-dollar selection of fine jewelry, July 15th through 17th at Diamonds Direct. Details and more at diamondsdirect.com.
Join Mark Patrick seminars and stop smoking now without cravings, irritability, weight gain, or your money back.
Totally changed my life.
It's amazing. I don't have any cravings. You want to quit, but have found it impossible? This is the thing for you. I have absolutely no craving. It's the darndest thing I have ever seen in my life.
It's not for entertainment. It's for results.
Do it. It works. Period.
You've tried everything else. You need to come and try this.
Only $49.99 guaranteed. Because don't just cut down, but stop smoking. In addition, use hypnosis to lose all the weight and destroy unwanted cravings. Seminars Thursday, July 28th at the Hampton Inn and Suites in Fishers. Weight loss seminar 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. Stop smoking seminar 8 to 10 p.m. And Saturday, July 30th at the La Quinta Inn and Suites South in Indianapolis. Weight loss seminar 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Stop smoking seminar 2 to 4 p.m. More info at markpatrickseminars.com. Treat yourself to unique live music this weekend. The 56th Indianapolis Early Music Festival entertains and enriches you with timeless, beautiful music from early eras. Visit iemusic.org for info and tickets.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
A nation mourning a former leader. I'm Kurt Darling. Here's what's trending at 11:30. The former Prime Minister of Japan has been assassinated.
Shinzo Abe was at a campaign event when he was shot in the western part of the country. The gunman is in custody on charges of suspicion of attempted murder. Tetsuya Yamagami was tackled moments after the shooting next to what appears to be a double-barreled handmade gun.
Fox's Alex Hogan reporting Abe resigned as Prime Minister in 2020. Democrats in Washington are said to be looking at proposing a tax increase for some high-wage earners to help pay for Medicare. The Senate proposal would raise over $200 billion over the next 10 years by imposing an additional tax on certain forms of income. Democratic leaders are expected to announce the Medicare plan in the coming days. I'm Kurt Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
I'm going to a fancy event, putting on some clothes that fit, and, well, let's talk about it. 93 WIBC, it's Kendall and Casey Show. I'm Rob. Abdul's in for Casey. Let's go to the drivehubler.com hotline, joined by one of the people who will be at the event with me, one of the keynote speakers, Donald Rainwater, 2020 Libertarian nominee for governor. All right, Rainwater, this event is for our buddy Jeff Moore, who's running for Secretary of State, the Libertarian nominee for Secretary of State. I've got the event pinned up on Twitter at Rob M. Kendall. Rainwater, I like Moore. I think he's super impressive. I think he's rock solid on a lot of the issues. I'm willing to put my voice where it might be of some benefit. I know you're totally on the train as well. What say you?
Absolutely. Good morning. And I'm glad one of us will be able to wear clothes that fit. But yeah, we are very excited about having a fundraiser in the Irvington area for the Jeff Moore campaign. There's nothing more important right now than election integrity and ballot access. In the state of Indiana, there are a lot of good candidates, not just folks that run as libertarians, as Jeff and I do, but independent candidates and folks that want to run on either the Republican or Democrat primaries who deserve to have better ballot access than what we have today. And I'm excited about Jeff's campaign to improve our political system here in Indiana.
All right, you know my deal, and I did this for you in 2020. If you're willing to give me a live microphone in front of a large audience and no restrictions on what I can say, I'll pretty much go about anywhere. And I offered to do that for both. Yeah, well, I offered to do it for Todd Young and Diego Morales, and they haven't taken me up on it yet. So that's the only rule is live microphone, large audience can say whatever I want, including about the candidate in question. But I'll tell you what, and Abdul and I talked about this earlier. This is a huge election, and we talked about this on State House Happenings as well. This is a huge election for the state of Indiana, the future of the state of Indiana, because the Libertarians with the Jeff Moore Secretary of State race have an ability to really forever shape the way elections happen in the state. Because if he gets the 10% statewide and he gets second in any of these counties, now Libertarians get seated on election boards, you get Democrats off the election boards, and you guys get primary ballot access, which is going to make your job running for governor in a couple of years a heck of a lot easier because of all that public money and resource that goes into being on the primary ballots.
Well, you're absolutely correct. This is a huge, huge time in the state of Indiana. The opportunity to recast the political landscape is just tremendous. And we need people who would traditionally kind of just gloss over the midterm election and the Secretary of State's race in particular to come out and vote. It's very important this year.
So I've got the event at Rob M. Kendall on Twitter pinned up on the Twitter feed there at Rob M. Kendall on Twitter if you'd like to know more about that. Okay, so let's talk about the special session.
Oh, and don't forget to tell people there will be bourbon.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, so it's booze, it's rainwater, it's Kendall, it's helping support a great guy running for public office. It's everything in one at a very reasonable price.
That's right.
Okay, so let's talk about the special session. And I maintain that if you've had 30 years and you've had a month and a half head start, and the fact that you still need 19 extra days to decide what you're going to do, and the fact that Rod Bray supposedly had this meeting with Holcomb yesterday and refused comment, the House Republicans are having this super secret caucus off State House grounds to talk about it. These Republicans were all hat and no cattle. It was all bloviating. They still got no idea what they're going to do, and that's just everything the Republican Party in the state is. What say you?
Well, I think you're absolutely correct. You would think that first of all, I think it is very telling that a special session was going to be called to help Hoosiers who were economically hurting because of inflation and the government response to the pandemic and all of the things that have happened due to that government response to the pandemic. And as soon as they have an opportunity to address the abortion issue, now all of a sudden it doesn't matter that Hoosiers are hurting economically. Let's postpone this until we can figure out what we're going to do about this other thing. And I think that in itself is deplorable. It is just unconscionable to me that you would recognize that Hoosiers need help. Oh, wait, here's an election issue where we can get more votes. Let's go ahead and turn our backs on the Hoosiers who need economic assistance. Let's not worry about fixing what we screwed up with the economy. Let's postpone everything to focus on this other vote-getting issue. And I think that is very telling as well. And I think that Hoosier voters should look at their elected representatives and say, hey, why couldn't you go ahead, start your special session, deal with what needs to be dealt with in the economy? And, of course, they're looking at that completely wrong. Sending every Hoosier taxpayer $225 or couples $400 isn't going to move the needle for the people who really need help. Here again, they don't want to, God forbid we suspend a tax or abolish a tax that would permanently help Hoosiers. Let's not do anything to affect the price of gasoline, which is what's driving just about every other phase of inflation. No, we'll wait because we've got this hot button issue that we can now do something to try to maximize our vote totals. And to me, that's why they're taking so long. They're trying to balance. It's not about doing what they believe is right or wrong. It's about how do we balance this to make sure we get the most votes in November.
Donald Rainwater is our guest, the 2020 Libertarian nominee for governor. It comes back to what we talked about, though, the importance of the elections. They do this, Don, correct me if I'm wrong, because they never worried about losing. They say no matter what we do, people won't vote for the Democrat. And so we talk about the importance of these elections and establishing third parties and growing the Libertarian Party. And this is why, because these Republicans do this, because they say at the end of the day, no matter how egregious our behavior is, no matter how hypocritical or disingenuous we are, what are you going to do? And the people thus far have done nothing about it, so they keep behaving like this.
Oh, you're absolutely right, because when we don't change how we vote, what we're doing is we are giving them our approval. And they look at it as a mandate. And the reality is that from what I'm hearing, and I'm sure you're hearing the same thing, it's not that Hoosiers approve of what they're doing. It's that Hoosiers are giving up. I'm having people tell me, why should I vote? It's not going to change anything. If I vote, the elections, they're just going to rig them like they've rigged them in the past. Why does my vote matter? And that's exactly what they want, Rob. They want the average Hoosier citizen to give up, stay at home, and just do as they're told. And we've got to get up and stand up and go vote and change how we vote, because if we don't stop doing what we're doing, they won't stop doing what they're doing.
Get you out of here on this. This is, you're, many people may not know this, in addition to being a very articulate, recovering politician, you're also a life advice coach. And I seek life advice on this topic, Don, which is there are so many people that are still, despite all the evidence and all the things about how much, whether it's Todd Young or Holcomb or whoever, how bad a job they're doing, they say, well, we can't let the Democrat get in there. Can't throw him a vote away. Can't run the risk of letting Schumer, run the country. I had this happen yesterday. Am I supposed to give up on these people? I mean, I feel like after 2.5 years and all the evidence, if they're not there yet, there's nothing I'm going to be able to do. I need some life advice here. How should I handle these people? Because if you say the guy sucks, or girl sucks, if you say they're doing a terrible job, if you say they're not living up to what they promised, but yet you'll still vote for them, after all this, is it time for me to give up on these people?
Oh, I don't think so. I don't think you give up on Hoosiers. I think Hoosiers are starting to wake up. And I think here again, because the people in power today, those establishment elites who are milking us dry with increased taxes and bloated spending, these folks are doing things every day that you and I look at and go, I can't believe they're getting away with this. And Hoosiers are waking up to that. So we have to keep doing what we're doing and sounding the alarm and giving people hope and reminding people that, you get the government that you elect. And so if you want a different government, you've got to go and you've got to elect different people. And so I'm very hopeful, and I don't want to give up on anybody, because I believe that tomorrow the people in power are going to do something that's going to make a new group of people go, okay, I can't put up with this anymore.
Well, I don't know about you, but I'm super excited for you and me to be in the same room together July 27th for that Jeff Moore event. I've got the info up at Rob M. Kendall on Twitter. I'm not sure if society will be able to handle that much handsome in one room together, Don.
Well, I don't know. Between you and Jeff, I think I can hide in the corner, and there will be plenty of attention for you guys.
He's the one and only Donald Rainwater. Thank you, my friend.
Thank you, sir. Have a great day.
93 WIBC, it's the Kendall and Casey Show.
Hey, Indiana, baseball season is in full swing, and there's no better place to bet on America's pastime than FanDuel Sportsbook. Right now, new customers get $150 in free bets guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet. Just sign up with promo code WIBC to get in on that action. FanDuel lets you bet the money line, home run props, strikeout totals, and so much more. Plus, you can combine your bets for an even bigger payday with a same-game parlay. Just join with promo code WIBC and turn a $5 bet into $150 in free bets, win or lose, exclusively on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. One more time, download that FanDuel Sportsbook app and use my promo code WIBC. Must be 21 plus in Indiana. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued is non-withdrawable free bets that expire 14 days after receipt. See full terms at FanDuel.com/sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
I don't always black out when I'm drunk.
My kids can't tell that I'm high, so it's okay.
I'm not an alcoholic. I don't drink in the morning.
I still have a job, so my drug use isn't a problem.
I can stop using whenever I want.
Don't ignore the signs of addiction. You don't have to wait until it's too late to get help. At Landmark Recovery, we're here to provide affordable and effective addiction treatment. Call 866-LANDMARK or visit landmarkrecovery.com to get help today.
Hello, Indianapolis. Looking to save money on your wireless bill? You can when you choose Consumer Cellular. Sign up today and you'll get the exact same coverage as the leading carriers for half the cost. This gives you direct access to the widest, most established cellular networks available. Consumer Cellular offers flexible monthly plans with no contract and simple, affordable service that's perfect for your lifestyle and budget. Featuring a wide variety of top-of-the-line phones from Samsung, Motorola, and Apple, you'll find a phone that's perfect for you. Everything is backed by a 100% risk-free guarantee, plus 100% U.S.-based award-winning customer support. Switch your talk, text, and data today and save up to $250 a year. Right-size your plan and downsize your bill with Consumer Cellular. Visit consumercellular.com/Indianapolis to start seeing the savings today.
Nobody cares for you like family. Family Heating and Air.
When you call to have your home or business's heating and air serviced, what do you expect from them? A salesman in a colorful truck? Or do you expect a highly trained expert with your best intentions in mind? The answer is obvious. Call the company that treats you like family. My name's Molly and I look forward to answering your call.
Family Heating and Air Conditioning is your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
Nobody cares for you like family. Family Heating and Air.
Here's Terry Stacy to tell you what's going on with WIBC.
The Home and Garden Show hits the road again next week, and we're heading to the Anderson Speedway for the 56th annual Greg Hubler Automotive Group Redbud 400. Join us live Saturday the 16th at 9 a.m. Tune in to Pat, Denny, and the gang on 93 WIBC, and follow us on social media to stay up to date on breaking news, traffic updates, and weather. Find us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube.
Grab more info online at WIBC.com.
Hubler has certified service and maintenance for the life of your vehicle. Get everyday value pricing on service and parts and schedule an appointment with ease at drivehubler.com.
They drank up the wine and they got to talking. And now
So, Hogsett has another plan to deal with violence in the city of Indianapolis. Will this one finally work? 93 WIBC. It's Kendall Casey Show. I'm Rob Kevins here. Casey's out today. She'll be back Monday. Abdul in for Casey. Don't forget, you can view the program online now. Watch us, listen to us, love us, tell us how great we are. You can do any of those. WIBC Facebook page. There's a link there, live link there. WIBC Twitter feed, live link there. And if you head over to YouTube, just put in Kendall and Casey, WIBC. You can watch the program there. Okay, Abdul, so our news gathering partners over at Wish TV had a report that the Hogsett administration now plans to spend $45 million over the next 3 years on organizations combating violence in the city of Indianapolis. And it seems like we've been here, we've done this elevation grant program is what this thing is. And it just seems like we've been here and done this before, and it hasn't worked. And it seems like for the most part, now they get a little bit, but not a whole lot, the groups with the proven track record, like the 10 Point Coalition and Reverend Charles Harrison, get iced out because of their political ties and that they work with everybody, including Republicans. Is this the time the money's finally going to make a difference?
I am cautiously / skeptically optimistic pessimistic.
Well, boy, that really clarified up. Thank you, Mr. Attorney. Would you like to give us an actual opinion?
I think I covered all four of my bases there. Well, no, the thing is, and it's funny you mention this because I did some checking a couple of weeks ago just on all the times Mayor Hogsett had news conferences on the crime issue, Mayor Ballard had news conferences on the crime issue, and Mayor Peterson had news conferences on the crime issue almost over the past 20 years. And usually every couple of years about this time of year, there's a big anti-crime summer jobs initiative thing, which is fine. However, I think the bigger issue, though, is our revolving door. It is people being arrested 2 and 3 times, no bail, and then back out on the streets. Until you stop that, all the other stuff is not going to work or not really going to do anything. I'm a firm believer in that because it's like when you got a trauma patient, you got to stop the bleeding,
right?
First and foremost. And then after we stop the bleeding, then you can talk about your diet, exercise, and the whole 9 yards. But Indianapolis has not stopped the bleeding yet because once again, if you look at the data and see who's getting arrested, 80-70% of all the victims and suspects all have prior adult felonies.
Right.
Crime against person, weapon, or drugs. So until we start putting away people and locking up people who we are afraid of, we can't do the programs to deal with people that we're just mad at.
And it's gobs and gobs of money. And they've done this, it was the Peacekeepers, and it was this organization, it was that organization. No matter what they do, it doesn't seem to be working. And so eventually you got to say, look, you've been at this for, when did he get elected? 2015? Yep. Seven-ish years now. Clearly you have no freaking idea how to solve this issue. And that's a shame because I don't think anybody's under delusion, hey, we're going to get rid of all violent crime in the city of Indianapolis. Not going to happen. What we do expect is a reasonable level of safety, which magically somehow the Ballard administration provided for most of his time in office. Clearly, you're not doing what they were doing.
Like I said, and part of it is, it goes back to, in my humble opinion, the revolving door over at the county jail and the whole issue of bail and bail bonds, folks. It's people getting out after they've been arrested 2, 3, 4 times. And I'm not saying, put somebody in jail for 30 years who's caught with a Splenda packet full of marijuana. We're not talking about that person. We're just mad at, like, dude, just go do it at home and just.
I'm not even mad at him. It should be legal anyway.
Yeah, just do it at home and call it a day. The people we're afraid of, those are the people who are committing the crimes because usually it's the same people who are doing the same things.
When you talk to people about the direction of this city, is there optimism?
No. And the thing is, I've always been a firm believer, at the very least, you should feel good about where you live.
Right.
Because you kind of chose to, for the most part, you chose to live there. You should feel good about where you live. You should feel safe about where you live. And people right now do not either feel good nor do they feel safe, unfortunately. Now, one thing we are going to do probably in September is do some polling on the prosecutor's race. Is public safety still the big issue, or is inflation? What are the big issues here in Marion County? So we have a much better idea of what the heck is going on. But as far as right now, people just don't feel good about where they live right now.
It's Kendall and Casey Show, 93 WIBC. I'm Rob Kevins here. Abdul's in for Casey. So there was a big protest on Wednesday out in front of the State House, and it related to abortion, and they estimate there was about 200 people there. Some people were impressed by that. You told me yesterday at State House happenings, it's nothing. That's no big deal. For nothing to be going on, which right now technically there's nothing going on, I think getting 200 people mobilized for anything, kind of a big deal. The question I have for you is, and we asked Jim Merritt about this last hour, when you were in the state Senate, did these protests ever sway you one way or another? He said, no, absolutely not. Will they grow as we get closer? Does the GOP delay on doing anything with abortion? Does it give them the opportunity to grow the numbers? And can these protests long-term, it's short-term, but at the end of the day, when the session is finally wrapped up, will they make any difference?
The protests, I think maybe around the margins, around the edges, they may make a difference. What I found out this week was apparently at the 4th of July parade up in Lebanon, up in Boone County, which is very Republican, several women participated in the parade, and they dressed like characters from The Handmaid's Tale. And so they were in the parade, and they were expecting, because they were protesting the Roe v. Wade decision, and they were expecting to be booed and jeered, but they weren't. Actually, quite a few of them got applause. So from that perspective, that to me is should be more worrisome about an election than a protest.
Well, here's what's interesting, because we've talked at length on this show today and other shows about the lack of ability to get an answer from GOP representatives and senators about where are you walking into this process on abortion. I get hearts and minds can be changed, compromises are cut, I get it. Where you're walking in, nobody will talk. And so you had asked me earlier when we were doing our back and forth, I said, it amazes me that someone like a John Crane, who unfortunately is my state senator, and Jeff Thompson, who's my state representative, these people have done the mailers, they've done the ads, they've done the speeches for years and years and years, that those guys are as pro-life as you can get. Now, you do what is pro-life? They made it very clear where they are on the issue, and yet when it comes time to actually step up and tell us where you're at, they're all quiet. And you said, well, have you called Jeff Thompson? I said, I had a 20-minute conversation with him 3 weeks ago on the gas tax, and banging my head against this microphone would be less painful than going through that process again. So no, I'm not doing that. Somebody who we both know, admire, called me during one of our breaks and said they had reached out. This person is non-political, a somewhat prominent person, and said, I reached out to both my state senator and my state rep and said, hey, may I have a minute of your time? So I'd like to give you my opinion, and I'd like to ask you. And they said neither the state senator nor the state rep has done that. Though the state senator has refused to respond, the state rep responded and said, I have time for you right now. I'll get back to you later. This should be uber concerning to everyone. We're not talking about THR. We're not talking about IndyStar. We're talking about a well-known, non-political citizen they're not going to be accused of being some far-left radical, and they felt concerned about it enough. Again, this is not a person who's out doing the Rob Kendall show every day. Said, this is super concerning to me because I'm just asking for a minute of this person's time so that I can discuss the issue, and I can't even get a minute of their time. That is not accidental. This is not Elvis. These people are not in demand. The fact that they're not responding is by design.
Well, like I said, the thing is, it's one thing to not talk to the media, which I get. It's another thing to ignore your constituents, or at the very least, not respond to your constituents. Which, because if there was me, I'm like, hey, let's sit down, let's go have a conversation. I'll sort of let you know what my thoughts are on XYZ issue, because you're my constituent, you vote for me, I'm responsible to you. Now, I can't necessarily go into all the details yet, but I can sort of generally let you know, here's where I am on these issues overall.
Oh, we got about a minute left here, and before I allow you to preview what's coming up on the very fabulous, award-winning Abdul at Large, which airs Saturdays 1 to 3 here on WIBC, I always give you the opportunity to do this, whether it's on this show or the State House Happening show. Any news regarding you running for public office you'd like to break here today?
We are exploring it.
Oh. That's more than we usually get.
Yeah.
I usually get a no.
Yeah, we're exploring
it. Like, when can I expect that? Would that be like a week from now?
We're exploring it.
Like 2 weeks from now?
We're exploring it.
A month from now?
We're exploring it.
Okay, perfect.
We're exploring
Very good. What's coming up? What's coming up tomorrow, Saturday at Abdul at Large?
We're exploring that too. Actually, we're talking to all the state chairmen: Kyle Hupfer, Mike Schmuel, Evan McMahon, and also a good friend Matt Sosi on what's playing at the movies this summer.
Thank you, everyone, for a very fabulous week. We're now on the video feed. Thanks to Tony Kennett for filling in. Brett Kloppenstein, Abdul, Kevin did a great job. You have a fabulous and safe weekend. Stick around, Tony Katz. Coming up next. Talk to you Monday. It's Kendall and Casey Show, 93 WIBC.
Smart homeowners know that proper maintenance of their home's AC can save a bundle in the long run. Trust our comfort specialists at 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning to keep your AC running strong. A proactive tune-up can actually help your AC run more efficiently and save you money on your electric bill. Call 855-1HOUR or visit onehourair.com. We won't leave you waiting. Sing it with me.
Always on time or you don't pay time. Always on time or you don't pay time.
Independently owned and operated, licensed in their respective state or county.
If you're struggling with weight and frustrated with dieting each and every year, Mark Patrick Seminars can help.
After this hypnosis, I want to eat good food.
Since August, I can honestly say I have not had one potato chip.
It was life-changing for me.
And I don't think about desserts like I used to.
Bridget, how much have you lost now?
I lost a total of 83 pounds.
Holy cow.
It's easy, it's fun, very relaxing, and very successful.
And I would just say go for it.
For only $49.99, lose all the weight you want, 100% guaranteed. Also, stop smoking with Mark Patrick Seminars. That's right. Seminars Thursday, July 28th at the Hampton Inn and Suites in Fishers. Weight loss seminar 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. Stop smoking seminar 8 to 10 p.m. And Saturday, July 30th at the La Quinta Inn and Suites South in Indianapolis. Weight loss seminar 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Stop smoking seminar 2 to 4 p.m. That's Thursday, July 28th at the Hampton Inn and Suites in Fishers and Saturday, July 30th at the La Quinta Inn and Suites South in Indianapolis. Registration begins 30 minutes before seminar. Go where the pros go. Drexel Interiors for Timberlake Kitchen and Bath Cabinets. Visit Drexel's new design center on 146th Street at River Road or on North Shadeland. DrexelIN.com.
On the level, on the go. 93 WIBC Indianapolis.
Coming up.
It's not enough rain really to end the drought.
Deeply saddened at the news of Shinzo Abe's death.
I've been planning for this day, and
I think there's a snake in the grass and he's going to get bit.
No more. Not this time, consigliere.
This is the WIBC News at noon.
Let the rain fall.
Showers and storms throughout the afternoon with a high of 78. Then the showers stick around overnight, too. Low of 69. We're back in the 80s tomorrow. I'm John Herrick.
And I'm Kurt Darling. Here's what's trending at 12 noon. Most of Indiana got rain Thursday, and that trend will continue today.
The areas generally south and east of Indianapolis have the best chance of seeing severe weather, but really anybody in central Indiana could be seeing strong to severe storms today.
Those threats with those storms include damaging winds, heavy rain, and a small chance for an isolated tornado, says Andrew White with the National Weather Service. He says farmers are certainly happy to see the rain.
Unfortunately, it's not enough rain to really to end the drought, but it's definitely much needed with how far behind we were. And it does look like to